against Rowra as well on the Sunday round back then. Must be really happy to be back on the top step and finishing on a high.
Yep.
Talk me through the race. Very tricky conditions out there today.
Yeah, at the start of the race, I couldn't keep up because they just went off the corner a lot quicker. So after they made some mistakes, I caught up to them and started pushing. And then I got up to Elliot, and that's when my dad gave me some signals to overtake. And then a couple of times I tried to overtake, and then I lose a couple of time, and I'll go back on him, and then I got Jensen through the last part of the corner on the last lap. And then when I saw the last lap board, I went like, okay, Leo, I need to get there, and went for the win.
I'd say Micromax is probably the closest, tightest category. There's a good 5, 6, 7 of you who all can win on your day. Does that kind of take the pressure off in a way because everyone's having their good days and bad days?
Yeah, sometimes it can put pressure on if you're at the top, if you're in top 3 and always on the podium. But if you're like top 5, it's not so much pressure.
It'd be remiss of me not to, because I say it's the first time we've had one of these interviews with you this year. The season's been a remarkable one, particularly the incident earlier in the season at Clay. For the folks at home, what's it been like coming back from that injury at Clay and being on the grid, but also being competitive?
Well, the first couple of weeks, it's hard. I couldn't use my hand a lot and stuff like that. I couldn't do any exercising. Had more ice creams than usual, and it's like, okay, I'm not doing karting so much. And then when we went to physio, got my arm done, and then I went back on track, a bit scared, and not so much into racing. It took a couple of weeks to get me back onto the level.
But you got back onto the level. I say the speed has been really good in this second half of the season. How big have Gear Up been as a part of that recovery? The team spirit's always been really good when I've seen yourself, Logan and Jensen together out on track.
Yeah, it's been good. Gear Up's been helping me quite a lot. Yeah.
Going to tomorrow, I think by my calculations we're down to 2 drivers, so Jack and Jensen will have the championship pressure on them for tomorrow. What's your mindset looking at round 12 like?
I just want to win again, do like Queen's just win all the heats, qualifying and everything.
Very good. Who'd you like to thank for your victory here today?
I would like to thank GT, Gear Up, and my dad, and Jordan in 4th, ROK Classes, and yeah.
Very good. Well done, Leo. Genuinely really good to see you on that top step of the podium. You thoroughly deserve the victory. Well done and best luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
At the podium once again with our winner in Mini ROK for the last Saturday round of the year, Alexander Adams. Alexander, how's your day been here today at Shenington?
Good.
And looking at the kart, how's the kart been today?
Awesome. At the first session we ran that as a Mini ROK, and the last session we ran that as a Honda Cadet.
How was your race in the final?
Try again.
Who'd you like to thank for your victory here today?
Can you try again, please?
Who'd you like to thank for your victory here today?
SuperOne, 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀, Dad and my friends.
Very good. Well done, Alexander. Great to see you on the top step again. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Last couple of podium presentations. Rotax 177 winner today. Great to have you back in the paddock, Chris Thomas. How was it out there today?
Yeah, it's always nice to come back to SuperOne. I've only done one more, I think, this year. But yeah, no, it was okay today. I think we were lucky with the weather. We seemed to avoid all the wet bits, which was handy. But yeah, no, it's nice just to get out there and blow the cobwebs out.
And a relaxed paddock, it feels, in Rotax 177. Say championship permutations all done, making it nice. It's just a straightforward race out there today.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's done and dusted now. So it's a shame again the numbers are not as strong as perhaps other championships. But you know, it is what it is. You know, especially when the championship's over, people are sort of, when they haven't got anything to fight for, they're less keen to come and spend all the money. You know, so. But I've just come along to support a friend of ours, Jack Baker, in Micromax. So they said, well, if you're coming, you might as well have a go. So yeah, we dragged it out of the garage, and here we are.
What tips have you been able to give Jack this weekend? He's in that championship fight in Micromax, and to say the conditions aren't making things easy for any of the drivers out there this weekend. I've
like helped him with certain bits in the circuit, but his dad and Gary, who's sort of his mechanic, they know what to make the kart go right and the motor go right. You know, that's probably a little bit beyond me, but I can certainly help him with the driving part, which I have shown him a few bits. I have to keep reminding him certain things. He keeps forgetting them, but yeah, I mean, he's a good little peddler.
Talking about your own race today, talk me through it. It looked fairly comfortable out there, but I'm sure it wasn't behind the wheel.
No, I mean it's always difficult. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean. You make a mistake, they're going to be on you. So I mean the key is just to get away as quick as you can and just try and maintain a sensible pace. You know, there's a few patches of damp still on the circuit, so you were sort of avoiding those in certain corners or taking a different line than what you would normally. But yeah, no, it was quite easy, I suppose, for want of a better word. But I would also like to say my kit as it's raced today is up for sale. So if anybody is interested, give me a shout.
The track as well, has there been a few developments here? A new set of tarmac down since the last time I was here, and I was only here like a month ago. Was that surprising for any of you out there?
Yeah, it is different. I don't like it, I've got to be honest. I think where they've joined the tarmac coming into Cafe is not a good place to join it, because it's right on the braking point and it tends to flick the cart. And there's a big yump going into the first hairpin as well, which again is on the braking point. So ideally they should have made it another sort of 20 foot further towards the left-hander. Yep. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of grip out there on that tarmac, and it's changed the tyre pressures as well, to be fair, because sort of effectively half the track is different to the other half. So yeah, we had to change a little bit, but you know, it doesn't take long to get used to.
Who'd you like to thank for your victory here today?
I'd like to thank James Laker at Evolution and Dan Holland at Time Race Engines for the ridiculous power they seem to give me. And obviously my family for coming along to support me.
Very good. Well, I say, great to have you back at the paddock, Chris. Great to see you winning again. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, another opportunity here in the 2023 Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships to have a chat with Chester Fawkes, who's our winner today in the 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino category. But more importantly, at least we have to say provisionally and all the things of that nature, but by our calculations, that is the championship wrapped up, done this year. A second Bambino title in a row for you, Chester. You must be elated.
Yeah, it's been a hard season, so we've had to work on stuff and other stuff, and sometimes it's gone wrong, sometimes it's gone well, sometimes it's gone bad, but we'll work through and done the championship and won it.
I think today's been one of the trickiest days of all throughout the whole season, with the weather conditions and this circuit very, very difficult to race around at times. We saw that in 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino last year, of course, with the close finish. What's it been like for you today in the karts?
Well, first of all, I have to say about the weather, because first of all, we got the wrong tyres.
Copy 2 minutes.
In the first heat, and then the second heat, we got the wrong tyres too, but we were still glad because we still won it on slicks.
Who was your main competition, do you think, today? Who's pushed you hard?
I've having to say William Crombie and Oscar Kenny this season.
So that they've been close all the way, and they've been improving all the time as well. What's that been like to deal with? How have you had to raise your game and get even quicker?
Yeah, we've had to work on more stuff on the engine. And then sometimes the engine isn't looking too well, so we change the engines. That engine's better, and the engines are just looking good now.
You won C50s last year. You've won 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambinos this year. What do you think is next?
Where 𝗦𝗲𝗍 we're going into, and we've already been out, and I like it.
Good stuff. Where have you been driving the 𝗦𝗲𝗍?
PFI, and I like the track because when you go down like the main straight, it's really long, and when you get a big toe, it's really fun.
Good stuff. I say your victory here today, another one in the bag. Who do you like to thank for the win here today?
My dad, my mechanic, who always is here for me to help out, and my grandpa for always coming and supporting, my two sisters and my mum for always supporting, 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 for the engines, and RCE for the chassis.
Very good. Well done, Chester. A great day for you, a championship and a round win here today. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Back at the podium. Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the final round, the 12th round for this year's Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships. Andrew Mather from 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀 Motorsport Media back on commentary duties for you, getting ready for the second round of heats today at Shenington. And we'll be starting with the C50 Bambino category. And let's see if 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 can continue the form that he had earlier. Toby Biggs had a great run as well in the first heat. The grid will be, of course, set by the same times qualifying session from earlier on this morning, and the results of this race to come will be combined with the results from the first race to set the grid for the final. Just to run you through a reminder of the results from earlier on in heat number 1. All of these results available on results.alphatiming.co.uk/SuperOne. SuperOne all as one string of text. Toby Biggs, as we mentioned, ran well and was your race winner earlier on in the first heat race. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 was second, Ronnie Kempson third, Harry Chapman and Rex Pooley in the top 5. Green flag in the air, I can see. Let's get ready for the second heat of the day for Bambino C50s. Here's your grid then for the second heat of the day for the C50s. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and 𝗦𝗲𝗀 go from the front row of the grid. Ronnie Kempson and Toby Biggs on row 2. Ollie West and Rex Pooley start on row number 3. Row 4 contains Harry Chapman and Mason Hibbert. Mason Muncher and Simo Kalman go from row 5. Mickey Gonzalez and Ernie Wade start on the 6th row of the grid. LBJ Stubbs had a good run in the first heat. Let's see if he can move up from the 7th row of the grid again. He's joined by Logan Hodgetts on that one. Jack Daniels and Louis Wilson start on row number 8. Elliot Payne and Jax Wong start on row number 9. Row 10, Arlo Gamble and Oliver Daniels complete the top 20. William Wainwright and Arthur Bowers go from row 11. Noah Myberg and Benjamin Schliever complete row number 12. And it's a 25 kart field rather. The number 81 of Joshua Bailey completing things on row 13. Conditions still stable here at the circuit, dry, but I'm sure if you're at the circuit you're already aware of this, but if you're looking at the camera shots, just looking over the back of the paddock there, the clouds are rolling in, and they're probably the darkest that they have been so far this weekend. We did have a number of short showers yesterday that made tyre choices for those classes that don't run a wet tyre all the time, a treaded tyre all the time, a little bit tricky. That won't be the case, of course, here for the C50s. They all run a treaded tyre at all times. Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the weather rolling in at the circuit. For those of you not familiar with Shenington as a location, we sit pretty much right slap bang on top of a hill.
So there's often a bit more weather up here, a few more changes than there are further down the hill in the Cotswolds. So DDMO HQ is not too far from here, and weather can be completely different between here and down towards Warwick, about 10-15 minutes away. Definitely going to be keeping drivers and teams and mechanics on their toes across the course of this afternoon. Formation lap underway then for the C50s. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀 at the front of the field once again. It's a superb demonstration from 𝗲𝗲𝗀 and 𝗦𝗶𝗲𝗀 in the first race of the day. They both got good starts. They pushed off the front of the order. They held their positions until the last lap of the race, and then a really good move from 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 sealed the deal. So let's see if 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 can get that jump. Apologies, from row 2 that 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 got that jump, and keep an eye out for 𝗦𝗍𝗍. The pace in the number 35 has been really good so far this weekend. Was less than a tenth off winning yesterday in the final. It starts on driver's right, left-hand side on your screens at home from the front row of the grid. Almost ready to go then. If the conditions stay stable, I expect this to be an 8-lap race with a time plus 1 lap on the clock. Ready to go racing once again in the C50s here at Shenington. Final round of the year for SuperOne 2023, and away we go. Good start for 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 from the pole position there. Good start for 𝗲𝗍𝗍 as well, holding in second place. 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 is up to third. 𝗲𝗍𝗍 having a look at potentially going for the lead as they go through Cafe for the first time. 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗍 to the outside, trying to find a way past 𝗲𝗍𝗍, but in the end has the slot back into third place. So steady start for all of our C50s on their way down to the Stratford hairpin for the first time in this one. 7 minutes underway. 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 looking to the inside, takes the lead of the race. Can he get it off the corner? Yes, he can. Brilliant stuff from 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍. Takes the lead of the race here on lap number 1 into the Bruno chicane for the first time. Then it's 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗍, 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀, 𝗲𝗍𝗍, 1, 2, 3. Bit of a gap back to the number 20 of Ollie West, who's under challenge, I think, from Rex Pooley there in the number 31. Looks like Mason Hibbert might have had a good start as well in the 37. Couple of drivers running wide out at Hanger Corner, but all good so far. Coming round to complete lap number 1 then. Heats 1 winner, 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 leads at the front of the field, and it's 𝗦𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 once again, these two drivers at the front of the field, but the roles reversed from this morning. Can 𝗦𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 now do a similar job to what we saw 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗍 do with him this morning, of be in tandem, push along, increase the pace, get off the front of the field, but then go for a move later in this race? Who's had some good progress on that first lap? I think Albie J. Stubbs has had some decent progress. Jack Daniels has also gained 3 positions on that first lap of the race. Arlo Gamble similarly up 3 spots on the first lap. Ollie West also running well in 4th place at the moment after a stellar day yesterday. Really good to see another driver getting their best results of the year so far, not giving in, going till the end. There is the number 20 with the dark suit and the bright green helmet, running well in the top 10 so far this weekend. End of lap number 2 then, couple of changes further back. Mason Hibbert and Ronnie Kempton have both gained a lot in that last lap. They've got 3 positions each to 3rd and 4th places respectively. So we've now got a bit of a 2-by-2 situation at the front of the order. The 2 leaders, Biggs and 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀, working together as they did this morning in heat number 1. Hibbert and Kempton doing likewise, and then everybody else scrapping over 5th place, going through the hairpin now. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗍 leading it ahead of Harry Chapman there. You can see in the bright yellow helmets with the yellow and black livery on the O-plated kart at the moment. Simon Cowell's had a good start, so a good couple of first tours of this circuit. He's up into the top 10 there in the number 12 kart. You can see him just a bit further back in the Ayrton Senna tribute helmet. over the line to complete lap number 3. Then still Biggs from Algar, Hibbert, Kempson, then the chasing pack of those 2 pairs of drivers. 𝗦𝗍𝗀 at the head of it, P5, Chapman, P6, West, Stubbs, Pooley and Jack Daniels continuing good progress. Jack Daniels up another 3 places, is up to 10th place. Here comes Harry Chapman looking down the inside, good cover there by 𝗦𝗍𝗀. Holds on to the position. Looks like Jack Daniels is having a squabble there with Rex Pooley and LBJ Stubbs, nearly 3 wide as they go through into the Bruno chicane. I think indeed Jack Daniels has emerged on top in that fight. So this is a really good run from Jack Daniels, kart number 16. Here comes Ollie West round the outside of Harry Chapman as they head towards Wilkins. Pooley down the inside of Daniels there. So about 3 minutes on the clock to go, plus the 1 lap. Nearly 3 wide. Chapman down the inside with Sher in the middle there. The number 20 of Ollie West on the outside. West will have the advantage as they go through Cafe Corner. Beautifully done by Chapman, West and Sher there. Brilliant racing by our youngest set of drivers here this weekend. Changes in position, but crucially all of them still in the running, and lots more opportunities for the drivers to overtake. Back with our leaders at the front of the order. Toby Biggs, Henry Algar running line astern. Positions changed over from this morning, as we mentioned. Still Biggs leading Algar out this time. They're doing very nicely indeed. They've got a 3.2 second lead over Mason Hibbert and Ronnie Kempson behind. Over start finish they go. A few problems that last time around for LBJ Stubbs. Unfortunately, Stubbs has fallen down 6 positions and is now running in around 15th place. Elliot Payne's had some problems as well. He's lost 6 positions down to 23rd side by side in the chasing pack. I think Chapman, West and Daniels were all fighting over 5th place as they ran through past the commentary box window, through Cafe and towards Pitts Bend. On lap number 6 then, 2 more laps after this one. Here is that chasing pack that's now headed up by the number 13 of Ronnie Kempson. In fact, Ronnie Kempson and Mason Hibbert have been reeled back in here. That's what confused me for a short moment. So Kempson and Hibbert being caught by the chasing peloton in a way, headed up by Harry Chapman. 𝗦𝗍𝗀 still there in 6th place. Over the line they go. So this is going to be a right old ding-dong for 3rd place. Potentially leading through to a good grid position in the final, which you'll be able to see here later today on the Alpha Live YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support of these Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships for 2023. Down the inside goes 𝗦𝗍𝗀, goes for 5th place versus Harry Chapman. Chapman nearly gets back up alongside to fight for it out of the Stratford hairpin and towards the Bruno chicane, but in the end just has to slot back. See that Mason Hibbert's keen to get through past Ronnie Kempson as well. This is 3rd all the way, pretty much down to I think around 12th, 13th place. It's really good stuff. Last lap board is going to be coming out then. 7 laps completed, or about to be completed, and on to the 8th lap. This was the point at which Toby Biggs really started to put the pressure on Henry Algar when Biggs started the final lap of Heat 1 in 2nd place. Roles reversed. Will Henry Algar try a similar move to what Toby Biggs pulled on the first heat, which was going down into the Stratford hairpin now? Algar's looking for it, looking for that lane down the inside. Can he get the braking right into the Stratford hairpin? He can, and almost a carbon copy of what we saw in heat number 1. But this time it's Algar down the inside of Biggs, takes the lead of the race on the last lap. Things stay as they are. Pole position, I think, would come down to fastest lap. There is a yellow flag out I can see out of my window. That might be for something down at Stratford hairpin. Biggs hasn't given this one up though. If he can find a way back through past Henry Algar, that'll be pole position in the final. Round the final couple of corners. Oh, it's going to be very close between them. Contact between Algar and Biggs. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Who's going to get their nose ahead to take heat number 2? It's going to be Biggs by 0.03 of a second. Across the line, who's going to take the battle for third? It's going to be 𝗦𝗲𝗀. Jack Daniels up to 4th. 5th for Ronnie Kempson. Chapman, Hibbert, 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀 and Gonzalez all inside the top 10. Simon Cowell's falling down the order, unfortunately. So I think there's been a problem there on the last lap out of our sight for the number 12. And a very good run there for Toby Biggs, having the best day of his season so far. 2 heat wins from 2 ahead of Henry Algar. They will be your front row drivers for the final later on today. 𝗦𝗲𝗀, good response there after a difficult heat 1, comes back to finish 3rd in heat number 2, will be high up the order for that final, and a good tip for that final as well based on what we saw yesterday. Meanwhile though, we're going to move on from the C50s. We'll see their final later on today. Next up out on circuit, second heat of the day for Honda Cadet and Mini ROK. Quick run through the grid then for Honda Cadet and their second race of the day. Mini ROK driver will be out in this as well. Keane Sullivan has pole position. Connor J. Winfield on the front row as well. Luke McGall and Max Taddy on row 2. Jensen Walker and Archie Cannon start on row number 3. Charlie Quine, good to have Charlie back. Starts on row 4 for this one alongside Hendrix Bennett. Also good to have Hendrix back in the paddock this weekend. Charlie Gregg and J.M. Prakash go from row 5. Isla Parsons, the last of the Honda Cadets, there on row 6 with Alexander Adams, our single Mini ROK runner in this race as well. We'll be looking to replicate what we saw earlier on in the first heat today. Some great overtakes from Alexander to move up through the order and finish well up in the top 10. Away we go then for 7 minutes plus 1 lap. Looks like Keane Sullivan's had a good start. And once again, it's the 2 ambition boys of Sullivan and Taddy leading the pack through the hairpin for the first time. The clouds continue to look quite ominous at the moment. It seems as if they're passing just to the right of us here and away from the circuit. But having said that, I've probably just cursed the weather. You can all curse me for that one later. 6.25 minutes of this one remaining, coming down to complete lap number 1. Good start for Connor J. Winfield there in the number 27 front trio off the rest of the pack here. Good opportunity this for them to solidify their positions in the middle phase of this race. Good start as well for Jensen Walker, up to, well, it's holding there in 4th place. Archie Cannon has gained a spot off the start as well. There in 5th place, guest driver for this weekend. Good to have Archie with us. Heading along runway Shenington, of course, an airfield, well, still an active airfield for the gliding club next door. This whole facility once the grounds of an old RAF base. Quite typical for this part of the world, quite a few of them around. Very windy, very flat in a good number of places around the Warwickshire and Oxfordshire area. A lot of them, of course, converted into racetracks. Rich history here at Shenington over many, many decades. Who can make history here today in the Honda Cadets? Keane Sullivan, Max Taddy and Connor J. Winfield haven't done anything wrong so far in this race, but they're being closed in by the chasing pack led by Jensen Walker, who put some fantastic overtakes on the other drivers, particularly in the second half of the first heat. Could he do likewise again? It's a great effort to reel in a strong trio at the front of the order. We've seen their performances across the course of 2023 so far. We know how good Keane Sullivan, Max Taddy and Connor J. Winfield have been this year in the Honda Cadet 200 category. Change for 10th place, 11th place rather overall. Alexander Adams has got past 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗀. So Alexander, the single mini ROK runner, just trying to gain as many positions as he can in these races. That's the aim. Learning along the way. 4 minutes to go in this one. Still this train, it's steady at the moment. This is another one of those classic Honda Cadet races that just simmers away, as we like to say, through the middle phase. Everyone keeping themselves in play for the last couple of laps when it really will get fierce out there. The drivers jostle for positions. Results once again from this race, combined with the results from the first heat, to set the grid for the final later on today. Heading down towards Stratford for the first time then. Still Sullivan in the lead of it. Walker looking down the inside for third place. Lane was open there. Not much that Winfield could do about that. And through goes Jensen Walker into third place. Archie Cannon also slotted through in all of that. Is up to fourth. Along the hanger straight to go once again. Keane Sullivan dealt with the pressure so well in the first heat to take the victory, by less than 2/10 ahead of Max 𝗬𝗏𝗍. Top four were covered by just over half a second, with Walker and Winfield completing that running finish. 2.5 minutes of this one to go. Charlie Quine's doing quite nicely at the moment as well. He's at the back of this group, heading up the field, but he's the fastest driver out there on circuit. Walker looking for one down the inside again, this time on 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗍, and through goes Jensen Walker into second place. Archie Cannon, like one lap before, hops through, follows Walker's lead, is into third place. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗍 trying to fight back there against the number 42 of Archie Cannon. In the end, has to settle for fourth place. Birthday boy, 10 years old this weekend. Now he's fighting back down the inside into Wilkins. Retakes third place. Connor Winfield's going to try and snap at the heels of Cannon as well, but in the end Cannon holds on to fourth. Well driven by everybody those couple of laps. Round two complete. What is lap number 6 onto lap number 7. Alexander Adams closing in on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, and in fact it's just gone through out of the window. Down the inside goes 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for the lead of the race. My goodness me, that one came from miles back on Walker and Sullivan, and it worked. Through goes the Scottish driver into the lead of the race. Walker also got past Sullivan in all of that, so effectively that was the swap of the ambition boys. But not for first and second, for first and third. It's all going on here in Honda Cadet. Still this pack at the front. Now in the order of 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Walker, Sullivan, Cannon, Winfield, McGall and Quine. They're all there. It's down the inside. Here comes Keane Sullivan for second place. Beautifully done through Park Bend. That restores the 1-2 dominance of the teammates at the front of this order. Walker's defending, but it's one of those where drivers are defending and attacking at the same time. Couple of changes back there. I think Charlie Quine's got through past at least one driver in the shape of Luke McGall. Nearly got past Archie Cannon there as well. Yellow flag is out through the Bruno chicane. There's a driver off to driver's right there. We'll try and confirm who that is. I think it may have been 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the number 43. Here comes Sullivan down the inside on his teammate, through into the lead of the race. Max 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 holds on to second place. There'll be 2 more laps for the drivers out there. 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I think, is also stopped, because I'm not seeing the number 50 come through at the moment either. Time up on the clock, but this isn't the last lap yet. Walker looking aggressive again, holding position ahead of Connor J. Winfield. Archie Cannon's going to have a chance here of taking fourth place. Needs to keep on the line through the Bruno chicane, and has done so. Good move by Archie Cannon there. Last lap board will be out for the drivers in a few moments' time. Still Keane Sullivan leading at the front of this big pack of 7 carts. There is the last lap board. Quick check over the shoulder for 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to see how much of a gap he's got over Jensen Walker with the number 22 behind. He's got a decent gap. We'll have a chance here, you'd think, down into the Stratford hairpin. He's liked an overtake down here today, but you've got to watch out for Jensen Walker, who's been an overtaking machine so far today. Walker pushing 𝗬𝗲𝗏 along there. Very close between the two Ambition drivers. Few hands in the air, communicating with each other, but it's still as you were. Sullivan, 𝗬𝗏𝗏, Walker, Cannon in fourth, fighting with Winfield. 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗀 in 6th, still the fastest driver out there with the fastest lap in this race, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀 in 7th. Down into the final opportunity for Max 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀 to take the move down the inside. Has he looked for it? No, he's held there in second place. So Kean Sullivan is going to make it 2 from 2. What a day Kean Sullivan is having. Takes the second heat, will have pole position for the final. Max 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀, his teammate, will join him on that front row. Jensen Walker 3rd. Good result there for Archie Cannon in 4th. 5th for Winfield. 6th for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in 7th. Hendrix Bennett over the line in 8th place ahead of Charlie Gregg. And Alexander Adams, the last of the finishers there, the single mini rock runner, in 10th place. 2 drivers didn't quite make it to the end there of that race. Jayan Prakash in 11th and Isla Parsons 12th. Well, very good stuff indeed. In fact, I've just seen that Jayan Prakash was running at the end there, and it was the number 43 running round. Finishes 1 lap off the lead. More from the Honda Cadets and the Mini Rocks later on this afternoon for their final. Next up out on circuit, second heat of the day for the 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗻 Bambino class. Time for one of our most entertaining classes this year in the Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships to go out for what is their final heat race of the season. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀 has pole position for it in 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗻 Bambino. Chester Fawkes alongside on the front row. Freddie Baker and William Crombie row 2. Oscar Kenny and Ralph Martin on the third row of the grid. Mickey Gonzalez is back out on circuit. Starts this one from the 4th row of the grid. Alongside him on that row will be Albert Farrow, Ollie Little, and Darren Dimitrov starts on row number 5. Theo Jepson and Alfie Garrett go from the 6th row of the grid. Chloe McGill and Sophia Page for Boxo Cosmic Juniors start on row 7. Ethan Holman, Max Joy start on row 8, and then Buddy Batch is due to complete the 17 kart field out there registered for this race. Drivers heading round the far side of the circuit, form up the grid, and it'll be 7 minutes plus 1 lap, as I say, for the last time this year for 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗻 Bambino. Results from earlier on today, if you missed it. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀 took the race victory ahead of champion-elect Chester Fawkes. Oscar Kenny and Ralph Martin 3rd and 4th. Freddie Baker, Alfie Garrett, Chloe McGill, Theo Jepson, Darren Dimitrov and Albert Farrow all classified in the top 10. Who's going to get those positions here in this second heat for 𝗦𝗏𝗻 Bambino? Under starters orders, ready to see those lights go out, and out they go indeed. Good start for Barber. Good start as well for Fawkes. Will slot into second place. Freddie Baker is also up to 3rd place in the early stages of this one through Cafe for the first time. Already on their way down to Stratford Corner here in the second heat of the day for 𝗦𝗏𝗻 Bambinos. Ooh, Chester Fawkes having a bit of a look there, think about going down the inside. Oscar Kenny on the move is up to 3rd place with a good overtake into Stratford for the first time. Through goes Chester Fawkes. Confidence there into the Bruno chicane. Was coming through whether 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 liked it or not. That was superb from the driver who points-wise has already secured a required number of points to beat out all other competitors. The number 32 now down the inside. Nicely done from Ralph Martin through into second place. We'll get some help from behind with Oscar Kenny pushing along as they start lap number 2. For Chester Fawkes, there is the procedural things that need to be done just to go through, complete the season, of course. Pick up the trophies at the prize giving later in the year. But what a season Chester Forks has had in 2023. It's easy to forget that this is a first year in 𝗦𝗲𝗻𝗻 Bambino for Chester Forks. Won the C50 Championship 12 months ago. And it's a name that I'm sure we're going to see marching onto the next ranks, up into cadet level karting for next year, I'd imagine. Looking like Ralph Martin wants to have a go at the champion though, as they come round to finish lap number 2. It's going to be Forks ahead of Ralph Martin, third for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝐶𝐿, fourth for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗶𝗲𝗍, Baker, Crombie, Gonzalez, Dimitrov, Jepson and McGill all inside the top 10 at this present time. Ollie Little has gained a spot, has got up to 12th place past Sophia Page. I think there's been problems out there, unfortunately, for 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the number 11 just coming round, Ethan Holm as well, as yes, there is the number 42 of 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 having quite significant problems indeed, unfortunately, a mechanical failure by the looks of it, and 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is out of this race, sadly, on lap number 2. A driver who finished on the podium, of course, at Wilton Mill, had a superb drive in the final in particular. Will have it all to do in the final now, but at least this is a circuit that you can overtake on. You can work your way up through the order, especially in those longer final races. Theo Jepson has improved. He's just got past Darren Dimitrov for 8th place, a little bit further down the order. Fastest driver out there at the moment is your race leader, Chester Forks, 54.614 that time around, but is now under attack from Ralph Martin down into Stratford corner. Through goes Martin, but back comes Forks. This is where he's particularly strong, along the runway towards the Bruno chicane. Saw him take the lead here earlier on. Oscar Kenny's looking for one round the outside as well, trying to take things there from 3rd place. I don't think I've ever seen drivers go 3 wide into the Bruno chicane before. Back comes Ralph Martin, has got nose alongside as they go through Hanger. Crucial thing to do. Will have the initiative into Wilkins. That was a really good bit of card placement by Ralph Martin, and that lead change will be confirmed as they come over the line now. There it is, end of lap 4. Martin leads from Forks, Kenny and Barber. It's this quartet off the front. You'd imagine from here is where we're going to find our winner for this race. Oh, round there goes Gonzalez, and there might have been a little bit of a touch with Crombie. Forks attacking once again back down the inside of Martin into Stratford, goes through. Brilliant move from Chester Forks, and once again, I know I keep saying it pretty much every single time these drivers come out on circuit, but they deliver exciting racing, firm racing, clean racing. They've been a joy to watch throughout the course of 2023. Once again, back comes Ralph Martin, retakes the lead, but just as soon as I say that, Chester Forks is back down the inside. The lead changed, was it 3-4 times on that particular lap? And in the end, Chester Forks ends lap 5 at the front of the order. Down the inside for 3rd place, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 goes past Oscar Kenny there. Good move from 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, just benefiting a little bit from a slight hesitation from the number 48. Slots down the inside, gain to position. Freddie Baker is doing well out there as well. Really tough this for Freddie. He's on his own. He hasn't got any help around him in terms of a buddy to push along and do a bit of shake and bake. And the pace is still good for Freddie Baker. 55.492. It's comfortably ahead of William Crombie, holding there in 5th place. Back comes Ralph Martin. It's Hanger where he's particularly strong. This time he's got some help from behind in the shape of 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Once again, Chester Forks, like 1 lap ago, switches back, takes that wide line, really dives in on the inside to go through there into the lead, or into 2nd place rather. 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 now slips back. Has been overtaken by Oscar Kenny. So Oscar Kenny and 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 swapping positions once again. Down into Stratford. Still a couple of laps of this one to go. Good defence from Ralph Martin down the inside. But this is where Chester Forks is particularly strong. Heading along now towards the Bruno chicane. Through those couple of corners they go. Still Ralph Martin in the lead. Now, interestingly, well, Ralph Martin's not going to need to do any overtaking through Hanger this time because he's already at the front. Blocks down the inside. Oh, bit of a touch there, and all four of them run wide. Forks is going to be on the outside now as they sprint towards the line. 2 laps to go after this one. Still some time on the clock. Beautifully cut through there from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Takes second place. Saw the opportunity. Doesn't need many opportunities to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. We've seen that be a growing part of his racing over the last couple of meetings. Really seems to be growing in confidence when it comes to making overtakes, making them stick. Very, very good indeed. Time is up. That means we'll have the last lap board out at the end of this tour of the non-gearbox Shenington layout. Can Ralph Martin hold on here for a race victory? He's got 3 very strong drivers, 3 drivers very much in form right behind him, including our champion-elect and a driver going for the runners-up spot this year. Last lap board out. Martin from Forks, Barber and Kenny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freddie Baker still running well in 5th place. Got to think that running down into Stratford is going to be a big part of the story for this race. Forks is down the inside. Has he got enough of room down the inside? He has indeed. Got the overlap, takes the lead of the race. Here comes 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 now, trying to take second place away from Ralph Martin on the last lap. Side by side as they go through the Bruno chicane. Brilliant defence from Ralph Martin, but has he carried too much speed? Chester Forks is away. That could be the key move to take this heat victory. Side by side between Ralph Martin and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Oscar Kenny still there as well. Through the final corner. Oh, it's going to be a weak exit for Ralph Martin. Chester Forks is going to win the race. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is going to take second place. Oscar Kenny holds it in there for 3rd, and 4th in the end for Ralph Martin. And once again, very entertaining run for the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Bambino category. Freddie Baker finishes a strong 5th there. 6th for William Crombie, 7th for Chloe McGill. Good overtakes there from Chloe to move up through the order. Darren Dimitrov, Theo Jepson and Mickey Gonzalez all finish inside the top 10. A recovery there from Gonzalez after a spin coming out of Cafe. 11th for Ollie Little, 12th for Sophia Page. And then we'll have 2 more finishers on the lead lap. Alfie Gout will be across the line there in 13th. And Ethan Holm will be there as well in the number 11 home in 14th place. 1 retirement being the number 42 of Albert Farrow. Well, as we come to expect, great stuff from the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Bambino category. We'll see them again for their final later on today. Let's get ready for the next race out on circuit. They're heading out on track shortly for their 2nd heat of the day. It's Micromax. Right, time for Micromax to head out on circuit. This is the closest category in terms of championship points and the one that is not decided yet. This could be a very key race in the story of the 2023 Purgo SuperOne Micromax Championship. Leo Livings has pole position for it and is joined by Elliot Travis on the front row. First of our championship contenders, Jensen Sales, starts on the 2nd row of the grid alongside Sebastian Behrman, and then Jack Baker will be there on row 3 alongside the ever impressive Logan Rolfe. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Jensen Walker go from row number 2. Noah Moulton and Sebastian Clark start on row 5. Benedictas Masiokas and Amit Singh Atwal start on row number 6. Archie Rogers-Tyler and Bertie Clark start on row 7. Layla Bell and Akil Nane Giannone complete the field on row 8. It is a 16-kart field. Right. Key story so far in this category. Logan Rolfe won the first heat. Jensen Sale 2nd. Leo Livings 3rd. Jack Baker 4th. Let's get heat 2 underway for 7 minutes plus 1 lap. Leo Livings leads in and through the first couple of corners. Elliot Travis fights in there for P2 and has held P2 and and then everybody else fighting for third place. I think Sebastian 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 has got the best run out through Pitts Bend, down into Stratford for the first time in this one. And Jensen Sale being shuffled down the order a little bit. That's one of our two drivers with the best opportunity to win the title this weekend. Moving down the order. Title can't be decided in this race. It's one of those that will definitely go to the last race. Should mention as well, Logan Rolfe mathematically does still have an opportunity. It's a bit more distant. It's one of those where he's just got to go for it. Go for every single position he can get. And hope that there's some fallings for the others later on. As did I just see a couple of spots of rain on the camera lens there? There's no umbrellas I can see in the true British way of checking what the weather's doing. Look at what the grandstands are deciding in terms of rain max overalls and umbrellas. None going up yet, but it is continuing to darken here at Shenington. Livingston, Travis at the front of the order, doing very nicely. If they can keep working together, they've got good opportunities here to push off the rest of the group. Logan Rolfe goes down the inside, takes third place. Jack Baker having a stronger run this time around there in fourth. Coming round to start another lap then. Been good work so far from Leo Livings. Won the final yesterday. Was that Jack Baker looking down the inside? It was Jack Baker looking down the inside for third place against Logan Rolfe. Rolfe round the outside, but I think in the end he's going to have to concede that one to Jack Baker. Less than 5 minutes to go on the clock then. See Jensen Sale eagerly trying to find a way through. The trouble is, it's so tightly compact as it has been throughout the season in these Micromax races. It's very hard to go for big lunges and go down the inside of other drivers. The risk is that you run on and then collect another driver. The worst thing for any of the pilots fighting for the championship would be to pick up any penalties right now, because every point matters in this Micromax category. 4 minutes and 10 to go. Still Livings and Travis racing off the front of the order. Through Bruno for another time. It does look like the chasing pack is closing in here. They're getting closer and closer all the time, particularly Jack Baker, who has tended to run better on the Sundays. Learns a lot across the course of these weekends and these double round meetings that have formulated this season. One last time out on a Sunday at 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, and that's the fastest lap of the race from Jack Baker now, 49.027. Livings looking a bit defensive now. Elliot Travis looking a touch nervous as well. Is very much aware that the pack has closed in. Sebastian 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀's having a really good race here as well, sitting there in fourth place, the driver with the blue and green details on his helmet. Looks like the rain is holding off for now. Maybe just a touch of moisture in the air. As here comes Jack Baker. Big move down the inside. Takes second place. Through goes Sebastian 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 as well for third place. Logan Rolfe's trying to get involved with Elliot Travis, and Travis is on the grass. Travis is on the grass. Not happy at all. Shuffled down the order. I think he's going to go all the way down to, well, it's going to say 8th. It's even worse than that. It's down to 11th now for Elliot Travis, and that's any realistic hope of winning this race gone. It's just too compact and tight out there. Leo Livings now defending from Jack Baker. If Jack Baker could win this race, that would be a huge response. The three drivers who mathematically can win this championship. He was the one who finished lowest down the order. It was fourth place. It was still decent points. But if he can start winning these races, he really is strengthening his bid. But he's lost out there to 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, Sebastian 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, another driver who's improved so much across the course of this year, learning all the time at each venue that SuperOne has visited so far this year. There is a technical flag out there for a cart number I couldn't quite make out there. Jensen Sale has just put in the fastest lap of the race. I think it was the number 50 of Sebastian Clark. That's not one of our runners towards the front of the order. Through goes Baker into the lead of the race. It's all broken down as they go through Cafe and through Pitts Bend. And just like that, after having been shuffled down to third, Jack Baker now finds himself at the front of the order. This is where Jack Baker now needs to do what he does on a Sunday, push off the front. The others have got to get themselves organised very quickly. I think Logan Rolfe's come through into second place. Yes, he has. Just do not take your eyes off this Micromax category today, because many things will change if you do. Through into third place goes Jensen Sale. This is a great fight back from Jensen Sale. Had a difficult start to this heat. 1 minute to go. He's now on the inside of Logan Rolfe as they run through Pitts Bend. To the outside as they go for the next corner, which is Stratford. Leo Livings down the inside is going to take third place. Here comes Sebastian Behrman as well in number 73. Is he going to help Leo Livings a little bit there to try and move himself up into fourth? No. Sale's going to get a great run round the outside and retake third. Fascinating scenario here in Micromax. Into Wilkins they go. There'll be 2 more laps. Oh, was that Jack Baker looking a touch slow off the corner? I think it was. He's still on the inside. Logan Rolfe is there. Can Logan Rolfe hold his nose in for the next corner? Jack Baker brilliantly defends around the outside. But this is big pressure now for the driver who won, took the clean sweep at Wilton Mill. It's a lot harder here today at Shenington. Here comes Jensen Sale looking around the outside now on his teammate Logan Rolfe. Has to concede and just slot back into third. This has got all the hallmarks of a proper title finish. This time Jensen Sale's up alongside Logan Rolfe. Logan Rolfe shuts the door. Jensen Sale not particularly happy about that, but Logan Rolfe knows with his point situation he's just got to push. It's an outside chance, but a chance nonetheless. And he's got to go for it. He's got to get every single position, every single race win that he can. Final lap board is out. Jack Baker has done brilliantly in this heat, responding after the 4th place earlier on. Has just got 1 more lap to complete. Can the rest of the field get on terms with the driver there in cart number 17? Defensive from Rolfe down the inside. Jensen Sale still there in 3rd place. Into the Bruno chicane they go for the final time. The corners are being ticked down. This may be a heat, but it's much bigger than that in terms of the championship. Side by side between Rolfe and Sale, with Leo Living still there as well in 4th place. Jack Baker's going to take an absolutely mammoth win in heat number 2. He needed to respond after heat 1, and he's done so. Heat 2 goes the way of Jack Baker. Logan Rolfe 2nd, Jensen Sale 3rd, 4th for Leo Livings, 5th for Sebastian Behrman. Elliot Travis responds back to 6th place. A great drive from Ginone as well from the back of the grid up into 7th, 8th for 𝗻𝗲𝗄𝗏. Jensen Walker 9th. Benedictas Masiokas completes the top 10. Well, you did not know from one corner to next who was going to emerge on top in that one. That was a big win, a really, really big win for Jack Baker. Their race, it was always going to go down to the final, but the final race will determine the championship, and we'll be able to see it later on today there in Micromax. We'll continue though, because next out on circuit for their second heat of the day, it's Intermax. Let's have a look at the grid then. 6 drivers going out to compete here in Intermax. JJ Plowman starts on pole position. Teddy Cooper alongside on the front row. ROK Thompson, and Benjamin Lawn on row 2. I was just put off there because Lawn's just had a spin through the Bruno chicane. Adam Turacek and Charlie Benson complete the grid. They're there on row number 3. In what is going to be Benjamin Lawn just slotting there back into his position, second on the second row. Good race from these 6 drivers earlier. Teddy Cooper took the win on the road. What's going to happen here in the second heat of the day? eyes on those lights. Out they go. 7 minutes plus 1 lap. It was drama in the first couple of corners in heat number 1. Benjamin Lawn this time gets down the inside and gets the overtake done on JJ 𝗬𝗲𝗀. That didn't happen in the first heat. Good move from Benjamin Lawn. Can now see if that pace that he's had so far this weekend can propel him up towards the front of this order. Teddy Cooper's got a very good start again. Just a reminder of that heat results from earlier on this morning. Cooper from 𝗬𝗲𝗀, Benson, Lawn, 𝗬𝗀𝐶𝐿 and Thompson. Into Wilkins for the first time in this one. Charlie Benson's looking for third place down the inside of JJ 𝗬𝗀𝗀 and does so quite fantastically. Very nice move there from the HTR driver up into third place at the end of the first lap. Teddy Cooper though, very relaxed. Job done yesterday to, from a points perspective, do what he needed to do to beat out the rest of the competition. Very much applied himself. He didn't need to necessarily go out and push hard and take risks for victories yesterday. It was third and fifth in the 3 races for round number 11. Today, as I say, shackles off, points job done, going through the motions. 𝗦𝗻𝗀𝗀𝐶𝐿 down the inside, goes past JJ 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀 for 4th place there. Teddy Cooper can really enjoy his racing this weekend, today in particular. Benjamin Lawn's pushing along though. Saw Benjamin Lawn his last appearance at Fullbeck, missed the 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 weekend. A bit of a renaissance for Benjamin Lawn back at Fullbeck. Another one of those times where it just seemed like a driver clicked with the kart, with the machinery, with the racing style here in Intermax. He's one of my drivers of the day back at Fullbeck. Great racing, competitive racing, never giving in. JJ 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 down the inside of 𝗦𝗻𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 to retake 4th place. Good move there from 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. While Benjamin Lawn came into yesterday, very much continued that racing style. Had the speed as well. Particularly if we do get a bit of rain in the afternoon here, keep an eye out for Benjamin Lawn because he was very, very quick in those mixed conditions 24 hours ago. Charlie Benson still holding in 3rd place. I think can be at least content with the season. Last year's mini ROK winner. He's had another strong year. It's been a challenge for Benson moving over to the Rotax powered categories. I'm sure we'll be back for future success as well in the years to come. Here goes Benjamin Lawn though, looking for the lead of the race. Down the inside of Teddy Cooper. Through goes the number 85. Confident move. That has been the difference for Benjamin Lawn since Fullbeck. Decisive with every single overtake, or at least the overtake attempt. He's not afraid to stick one down the inside. He will throw everything at the field. Oh, bit of a contact there. Through goes Cooper. I think there was a bit of shuffling from further back, and Benjamin Lawn has now got the attentions of JJ 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. This is over 3rd place. Someone's bumper is down. Oh, it's off goes Benjamin Lawn. Tried to turn in there, has kept momentum. He's done very well to keep going and has got it out of the grass and the gravel there. But for Benjamin Lawn, will slip down the order now, and just when it was looking good, led in the early stages of that last lap, has now got it all to do out down the bottom of the order. Cooper still leads this race though. Benson there in 2nd place. Just noting that unmistakable sound on our cameras of someone's front bumper chattering along. I wonder if one of our drivers out there, we saw that with Ethan Hay earlier on in the juniors. It ended up being a dropped bumper as far as we're aware. Ooh, it might be the number 79, you know. It might be Teddy Cooper. We'll have to see when all the drivers come in. We get a good vantage point of checking for if anyone's having the photographic evidence for a drop bumper here at Shenington, because it's right below us here in the commentary box. So you can't always tell from a track side whether it is a clip that's been declipped or not. Bet he'll deal with that in due course. JJ Ploughman continuing to have a really good run here this weekend. It's up into second place again. A disappointment in the first heat. Got tipped round through turn 2, then fought back some fantastic speed into second place. Into Wilkins once again. Top 3. Pace is good from these drivers at the minute. We've dropped 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀. ROK Thompson a bit. In fact, ROK Thompson's got a problem. He's pulling into the pits. I can tell you just off our monitors. You might just be able to see his helmet going through pit lane. That means Benjamin Lawn is back up to 5th place. I'm just checking out the window if there's anything obviously wrong with the number 11. Not sure. It's got drive. It's got motive power. Clearly something wrong there for ROK Thompson. A trying year for ROK Thompson. At times there's been some fantastic speed for ROK. Another driver similar to Benjamin Lawn, when the confidence has been high, it's been able to put in some really good performances, but luck has not always been on his side in 2023. JJ Ploughman down the inside of Teddy Cooper to take the lead of the race. Very nicely done with just under a minute on the clock. Got enough drive, an overlap down the inside. Cooper, oh, whoa, locked up there, and strangely does get through. I thought for a moment then he was out of control and that there could be contact with Ploughman. Ploughman opened his steering. I think Ploughman was probably thinking that as well. He thought the number 79 was going to be making contact, and in doing so, the line was open for Teddy Cooper to go back into the lead on the road. Ploughman looking for a way back through into Wilkins. They go. This is where Ploughman got the move done 1 lap ago, but I think he's a bit further back now. He's actually going to have to think about Charlie Benson there in 3rd place. 2 laps to go for the second heat of the day for Intermax. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 continuing to push on as well there. Apologies for a couple of the timing issues at the moment. Ploughman through Stratford once again is the fastest driver out on circuit right now. Final lap, I think, has been called. I'll keep an eye on the checkered flag being prepared if that is the case. Down the hanger straight into Wilkins once again. Can Teddy Cooper hold on here for the win on the road? Over the line, he can indeed. There is the checkered flag, and Teddy Cooper takes heat number 2 ahead of JJ Ploughman and Charlie Benson. Now the key question though. Let's have a look. Is there a dropped bumper? Oh, I think there is. Yeah, a picture is being taken, which normally indicates that there is a dropped bumper for the kart involved. So Teddy Cooper won't keep that win. That one will go the way of JJ Ploughman. Very good stuff indeed for JJ Ploughman. Charlie Benson gets another good result as well. 3rd on the road. Shame for Benjamin Lawn there. Had that moment and span out down, or in fact didn't spin out. He took the off-track excursion but kept it pointing in the right direction and recovers there to 5th place. Good race there from the Intermax drivers. We'll see their final later on this afternoon. Next up out on circuit though, for their second heat of the day, it's Senior Rotax. Time for our fastest category of the day to head out on circuit for their second heat of the afternoon. And Finley Watson will have pole position again. The State Motorsport driver joined on the front row by champion-elect Joe Weaver for JWR. Cameron Crockett and Jake Richards start on row number 2. Harry Pullen and Elliot Thomas go from row number 3. Shane Collinson and Finley Patterson start on the 4th row of the grid. Oliver Hutchings and Tom Taylor start on row 5. Tom Patterson and Jamie Bradfield will go from row number 6. Shane Collins completes the 13 kart field. And are we going to see another super race between Watson and Weaver? We did in heat number 1, which went the way of Weaver. Crockett 3rd, Pullen 4th and Richards 5th. Under starters orders, and away we go for 7 minutes plus 1 lap here at Shenington. Second heat of the final round for SuperOne 2023 in the senior Rotax Max category, and it's a good start for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀. Down towards the hairpin for the first time. There's someone running a little bit wide there. There was someone shot off to driver's right through Pitts Bend. We'll track who that was in a short moment's time. What we do know is that it wasn't Weaver, it wasn't Watson, because they're off the front of the group already. It was Jake Richards who took an unplanned exit from the main pack there. He's running again, but is not going to be getting the best of results here in this one. Tom Taylor down the inside. Saw a lot of overtaking from Tom Taylor in the previous race, but did have a penalty awarded to him in the first race. So in the end, that meant that Tom Taylor was classified in 8th place. That search for a top 3 for the first time since round 8 continues. Weaver and Watson off the front of the order then, leaving it to the rest of the pack to chase them down. Try and draw level with this very high level of performance that these two drivers have put on so far this year. And 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀 in particular missed 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀, is now just going all out. Was definitely going all out yesterday. Took round 11 with a fantastic drive in the final. Joe Weaver, plans being as, oh, down the inside there was 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀 through Stratford and has got through. Track limit warning for Jake Richards in the number 12. Harry Pullen and Elliot Thomas going along very nicely right now as well. They've dropped the rest of the pack, headed up by Shane Collinson. Drivers coming round then to complete the 3rd lap. To come back to Joe Weaver, so talked to him yesterday, talked to him a lot through the course of the season. Know that personally his plans are to move into car racing. He did a lot of driving for teams in the Audi TT Cup most recently. He will want to finish his time in a driving capacity in this category with a race victory. Got to get through the motions in this heat though. Into the middle of it now. Coming round to finish lap number 4. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀 still leads ahead of Joe Weaver. Harry Pullen has dropped Elliot Thomas now. Good in terms of times and holding or solidifying that 3rd place. Not so good for progressing up towards Weaver and Watson, because he's now pretty much running this race solo. Hasn't got a bit of help from behind, no bump drafting from behind. It's going to be very difficult to close that gap of, even though it's only 3/4 of a second right now. It's the pace that we saw from Watson and Weaver at this stage of the race in heat number 1 is where they really started to turn it up. Tom Taylor trying to fight through once again. Is up to 6th place, is closing in on Cameron Crockett in the number 88. But there it is, fastest lap of the race for Tom Taylor, 41.843. The driver wants to bounce back here, get over the disappointment from heat number 1, respond back and show that he is worthy of a slot higher up the final when we get to that stage. Two drivers that so far are definitely going to be at the sharp end of things in the finals. Right here, looking good, are Watson and Weaver. Coming round to start another lap. I think right now, once again, calling one of those mini truces in the middle of this race. Know that Harry Pullen is not too far behind, as, oh well, I'll say that, down the inside goes Joe Weaver, takes the lead of the race. Well, what do you know? Just as I said, I thought they were going to work in tandem to get a bit more of a gap over Harry Pullen. They go and do that. A very good move nonetheless from Joe Weaver. Puts him back in the lead of this race. With 2 minutes to go, still a decent amount of time on the clock. Still good opportunity for Finley Watson if he can keep on at this pace to strike back at the holder of the number 1 plate. Round onto the Stratford straight then, down into Stratford corner. Looking for that late apex, absolutely spot on from Weaver and Watson. Got to give it to Harry Pullen though, this is a really good run. Cannot understate just how hard this is around this track in particular. If you don't have the power around here, it can become a very, very gruelling circuit to race around. You've got to have that consistency as well. You've got to keep the momentum up, irrespective of which class you're in. Down the inside goes Watson looking for the lead. Weaver leaves enough room around the outside, takes the advantage back going through Cafe. Very good racing once again between Weaver and Watson. Heads up racing. Watson's now looking down the inside again through Stratford. Weaver's looking for the cutback. Has he got enough alongside to retake the lead into the Bruno chicane? Side by side between the two of them, and Watson's through. Well, he had to bully his way through in some ways there. No inches given between Weaver and Watson. Absolutely superb. Weaver's back down the inside. Retakes the lead of the race through Wilkins. Superb once again, but back comes Watson. This is pulling Pullen back into things as well. Look how much he's closing. Watson retakes the lead. 2 laps to go here in the second heat of the day for senior Rotax, and the battle is on between Watson and Weaver. Weaver to the outside. He's trying for that switch back again, but is not going to have a run alongside the number 33 this time. This is really opening up very nicely for Harry Pullen, who is 3/4 of a second, a full second back. He's now probably 3 kart lengths behind his JWR teammate. Watson continues to defend to the inside. Pullen is with them now. Last lap board is going to come out. Finley Watson leads this one. Through Park Bend they go. Not really going to be much opportunity for Weaver or Pullen to try and move here, but there will be now down into Stratford corner for the last time in this heat. Watson defends to the inside. Weaver once again tries to get that overlap. Clever racing by Finley Watson mid-corner to not allow that gap to open up. That's the Bruno chicane done. 1, 2, 3 through the Bruno chicane. Tom Taylor continues to run well, is up into 5th place. Last opportunity, you'd think, for Joe Weaver to get by. Pullen's going to go down the inside of Weaver, takes 2nd place. It's going to be a side-by-side JWR jump to the line. Finley Watson takes the heat. Harry Pullen brilliantly, never giving in there, takes P2 with a great move on his teammate through Wilkins. 3rd for Joe Weaver, 4th for Elliot Thomas. Good drive from Elliot Thomas there. 5th was Cameron Crockett. 6th, Tom Taylor. 7th, Tom Patterson. Hutchings, Patterson and Collinson complete the top 10. Shane Collins 11th, Jamie Bradfield 12th, Jake Richards 13th after the off-track moments there on lap 1. Well, another really good race from Watson, Pullen and Weaver. We'll see them later on, as with the rest of the senior Rotax category, in the finals towards the end of the day. Next out on circuit, though, for their second heat of the day, it's junior Rotax. Back out onto track go the largest field of the day. Here is their grid for heat number 2 in junior Rotax. Milo Manderson has pole position. Jake Woods starts alongside on the front row. 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗶𝗀 and Aidan Hassan on row 2. Jasmine Taylor and Ethan Hay go from row number 3. Callum Gosh and Billy Edgecombe start on row number 4. Charlie Cox, we're hoping for better things in this one, starting on row 5 alongside Albert Wilton. Jake Howarth and Harrison Morrow start on row number 6. Jake Flewitt and Ben Horner start on row 7. Toby Bedford and Daniel Whitfield start on row 8. Joseph Murphy and Jaden Hewitt start on row number 9. Mars Roby and Harry Smith on row 10. Max Rowley and Kieran Denny row 11. Harry Holland and Jack Briscoe row 12. Bennett, Cowling, Welch, Whitcomb and Powers completes your 29 entries here in junior Rotax for their second heat of the day. Away they go. Can 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗶𝗀 repeat the result of earlier and win from the second row of the grid? Good start for Milo Manderson, leads through the first couple of corners. 2, 3, 4 wide in places further down the order, but they're all through and away on to Stratford for the first time in this one. Manderson defends down the inside. Jake Woods is looking for opportunities there. It's up into second place. Hassan cuts across. Has started well in third. It's going to be a close race, this. Don't think anyone's going to gallop away at the front of the order. Hassan looking for a move down the inside of Jake Woods there. Jake Woods, in fact, finds the door open by Milo Manderson to take the lead of the race. Not quite sure what happened there with Milo Manderson. Bit slow on corner entry. Jake Woods does not need a bigger opportunity than that to go down the inside and take the lead of a karts race. Brilliantly done by Jake Woods. Very strong round this circuit, particularly in the mini categories in years gone by. Stepping up to juniors now. He's had a difficult season, but those flashes of brilliance that we saw a couple of years ago, he ran in mini rock in particular, have been there. This is a great opportunity for Jake Woods to show what he can do. Down the inside though, there goes Hassan, another driver, very strong round. Shenington takes the lead of the race at the end of lap number 2. Hassan leads, Woods second, 𝗦𝗲𝗍 third, fourth for 𝗦𝗲𝗍, fifth for 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀. The rest of them going through the order. Problems that last lap, I think, for Jasmine Taylor. Lost 6 places. Unfortunately, is down into 13th spot. Gains as well for Max Rowley. Jensen Powers has had a decent start, starting from the back of the grid after problems in qualifying, and is already up into the top 20. Through Wilkins we go. Hassan looking comfortable at the front of the order at the moment. Very familiar, of course, with this position. These results further extends his championship lead. From a points perspective, was sealed yesterday. Didn't have a perfect day yesterday. 7th in the first heat in particular. Was a bit below the lofty levels to which Aidan Hassan performs. Did the job in Heat 2 to finish second, and then took the final win brilliantly. Score that sufficient number of points. See how hard they are braking into Wilkins. Contact warning for Jake Howarth. Jake had a decent day yesterday. He's trying to secure second place in the championship at least, and improve on his ranking over the course of the season from 1 year ago. Charlie Cox has had a contact warning. So far, Charlie Cox in this race had a mechanical in the first race. He's running in 18th spot at the moment. I don't think everything is all okay in the number 72 today. A decent qualifying, and is struggling here in the races. 3.5 minutes to go then. Still Hassan leading from Woods, and it's a quartet completed by 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀 and 𝗍𝗍𝗍 out front of the moment. As down the inside goes 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀, takes second place. What an overtake that was. That was from quite a way back into Cafe, but had the control and had the measure of Jake Woods there to take that position. That's put Jake Woods back a bit into the clutches of 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗀. Going through the Bruno chicane now onto the hangar, onto hangar straight. Hassan trying to get in as much of an aerodynamic position as possible. Back out onto the park straight once again. 6 laps completed. Over 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. There's still plenty of racing to go here. And 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗏 took that first win of the season in a heat race earlier on today. She couldn't do the double, could she? It'd be a superb run for a driver who just seems completely changed. Has improved a huge amount in the middle part of this season. Took a lot of people by surprise at Wilton Mill in particular, but has shown across the course of that Wilton Mill weekend and here this weekend at Shenington that it wasn't a fluke. It is the performance that 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗏 is able to put out now. It's closing all the time on Aidan Hassan for the lead of this race. And I just wonder if they'll work together, the two rally replay drivers here. Oh, Hassan's run wide And he's going to be under challenge here from 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀 going round the outside, side by side as they go down towards the Stratford hairpin. Surely this will be Cotty's on the inside. It will be. Hassan tries to cut back. The overlap's not there. Here comes 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀 again. Looking for second place. Woods still involved as well as they go through the Bruno chicane here on lap number 7. Mechanical flag has been shown to Jake Howarth. Hassan defends into Wilkins, trying to hold off 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 here for second place. Billy Edgecombe's going to go down the inside of Jake Woods. That's for fourth place. Nice move from Billy Edgecombe, who has won races this year. Had a great weekend at Clay Pigeon earlier on in the season. He's currently the fastest driver out on circuit, 42.703. Onto the runway they go then, through the Bruno chicane. Position gain last time out. Another great drive from Joshua Withcombe, by the way. A bit further down the order in 15th place as 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 trying to go around the outside. Has found a way past Hassan. Has got through. Here comes Billy Edgecombe as well, being attacked by Jake Woods. Jake Woods not happy at all about something. Here comes Billy Edgecombe once again down the inside, like he did on Jake Woods one lap ago. This time on Aiden Hassan has got through into third place. 15 seconds remaining on the clock. It's looking good for 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 to take a second win of the day. Down the inside of Hassan goes Woods. So Woods is now up to fourth place with a good move through the Stratford hairpin. Last lap board is going to be out next time around. And action heating up here in Junior Rotax. 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 potentially on her way to a second victory of the day. It's already taken heat number 1. Would be confirmed as pole sitter for the final with this result as it stands. Just to note as well, so for the point scenario, the mechanical flag for Jake Howarth further cements things for Aiden Hassan, who points-wise had already got the job done before things started here today. That's not good news at all for Jake Howarth. Could even harm his second place hopes in the championship, because he's going to have to start a long way back in the final. Not starting a long way back in the final, but on the front row it's going to be 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, taking 2 wins from 2 today. Second place goes to 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, third to Billy Edgecombe, fourth for Aiden Hassan. Jake Woods strong there in 5th place. Milo Manderson, Callum Ghosh, Harrison Morrow, Jasmine Taylor and Jake Flewitt all in the top 10. Good drive there from Jake Flewitt, moving up through the order. Checking the bumpers, all looking good for our top 2 and for our top 3. Good so far. Those drives at the front of the order confirmed, pending post-race scrutineering for other aspects, of course. 2 wins from 2 for 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Very good indeed. Daniel Whitfield 11th, Albert Wilton 12th. Another great drive from Joshua Withcombe through to 13th. Ben Horner was 14th. Joseph Murphy 15th. Max Rowley, Harry Holland, Jaden Hewitt, Miles Roby and Harry Smith all inside the top 20. There's more problems for Charlie Cox. He's really not having a happy day at all in that number 72 kart. We'll see the Junior Rotax category for their final later on today. Next out on circuit for their final heat of the day, of the round, of the season. Before we move on to the finals, of course, it is Rotax 177. Let's have a look through the grid then for Rotax 177, heat number 2, going out on circuit in a short moment's time. Chris Thomas has pole position in the number 1 kart, the number 52 of Shane Collins alongside. I know a lot of work's been going on. It was a chassis failure, a cracked seat brace that put Shane Collins out of the first race of the day. Jason Bear and Andy Collinson on row number 2, Andy Ward and Mark Patterson on row 3. The good news for Shane Collins, we're doing a little bit more of the maths, and he does actually have a bit more of a margin than we noted earlier. So for the battle for second place in the championship, first of course is already done. For second place in the championship, it is a case for Shane Collins of be classified. And he'll be able to overhaul the points that Jason Bear has currently got. The reason Collins is behind is Collins missed one of the earlier meetings, so in effect has used up his drop scores already. Thank you for your continued support. Big thanks to our sponsors once again for SuperOne 2023. Purgo, our title sponsors for this year's championships. Big thanks to them. AST Signs, CWD Choices, Bell Helmets and JKH. And thank you to all of you at home as well for your continued support of the championship. If you're new around here, or you just haven't done so before, please do consider clicking that subscribe button for us here on Alpha Live, and if you're enjoying the commentary as well, at @MM across all of your major social media networks. Thank you for your continued support. Formation lap underway then for Rotax 177. Second heat for this category. Last time this year for Purgo SuperOne 2023. And I'll say 7 minutes plus 1 lap. Chris Thomas has had a great weekend so far. Can he continue the run of results that he's had here this weekend at Shenington? Away for the start of this one, 7 minutes plus 1 lap underway. Thomas leads as they go out towards Stratford for the first time. Shane Collins, repairs done to the number 52. In fact, there may have even been a change of chassis for this race. There in second place, Jason Bear third and Andy Collinson fourth. Good to see Andy Ward is back out there as well. Had technical problems of his own in the number 8 in the first race. He's running in 5th right now. Towards Wilkins for the first time then. Chris Thomas, not just here this weekend in a driving capacity, he's also doing a good amount of driver coaching with Jack Baker, who we've seen in the Micromax category going for the championship today. 6 minutes on the clock to go. It's Thomas from Collins at the front of the field. Bear has had a really good day so far, Jason Bear. It's looked competitive, has looked racy on board the Attack Motorsports machine. Trying to gain as many points as well, and can improve, and is improving on his scores from earlier on in the year. Even though the scenario now for Shane Collins is along the lines of just complete the races, get those points, get them on the board to take second place in the championship. Jason Bear is going to give it everything to try and make sure that that doesn't happen. 5 1/4 minutes remaining on the clock. Chris Thomas's lead around 6 1/2 tenths at the moment. But will we see the classic Chris Thomas move in the middle phase of this race again, where he just has this ability to turn the pace up a notch? And so much so that Shane Collins' seat bracket broke last time around. That will be, I think, the tough phase of this race for Collins in particular. As there it starts to happen now. 4 tenths on that last lap. Thomas turning it up to a 42.723. The main problem for Collins at this this part of the race is that he starts to lose the aerodynamic effect, the slipstream being there in the wake of the number 1. He has to work that bit harder to keep his own lap times in that 43 or low 43s as he's doing at the moment, and potentially opens up opportunities for Bear and Collinson behind to work together, closing that gap to the number 52. And put Shane Collins under a bit of pressure in the latter stage of this race. Wide for Jason Bear there through Cafe Corner, and that's going to be third place going the way of Andy Collinson. Andy Ward's not too far behind as well there in the number 8. I think it's had the technical problems by this stage of the race. There's the number 53 of Mark Patterson. Best lap time at the moment of 54.560 for Patterson. Just pulling over to one side, letting those on the lead lap go by. Round 2, complete another lap then. Chris Thomas is the only of these drivers in the 42s at the moment. Interestingly, Andy Collinson has just set a personal best that time around. Now, without the attentions of the number 50 directly ahead of him, Andy Collinson sets a 43.2. So can he start to whittle away the 2-second gap between himself and Shane Collins up ahead? We're having a look at Jason Bear, now under pressure from Andy Ward. Andy Ward keen to get another 4th place here if he can. So he's had difficulties, mainly of a mechanical nature so far this year. When things have gone well, they've gone well indeed for Ward. He's had a couple of second places so far this season. Consistently, when things have been running right for him, the target has been to be ahead of Jason Bear when he can. Be first of those drivers. Kind of taking this step up into Rotax 177. It's fair to say that for Thomas, Collins and Collinson, between the three of them, a lot of experience in years gone by, particularly here on Rotax machinery. For Bear, Ward and Patterson, they're building their experience levels and their speed all the time. Andy Ward is definitely using this this opportunity. He's just sat behind Jason Bear. Will have a good benefit of a tow right now. Can he find enough pace though to get down the inside, take that 4th place? 1 minute and 30 to go then. Chris Thomas continue to do what Chris Thomas does. 2.2 seconds out ahead of Shane Collins right now. Shane Collins, another really good comeback from Shane Collins. It's a story of what might have been, I think, for Collins this year. Has had way more than his fair share of bad luck. I remember last time at 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀 he had a breakdown. There's been a number of times this year when, if it wasn't for breakdowns here and there, I think Shane Collins would have been able to take this title fight at least to this final weekend. That's not to diminish what Andy Collinson has achieved this year, of course. Collinson has been absolutely fantastic. He's been very professional in getting the results on the board, particularly in the opening 3 or 4 events of this season. It's afforded him the opportunity to maybe perhaps be a bit more measured in the 5th and 6th meetings of this season, but he's not needed to take risks, is probably the fair thing to say for Andy Collinson. And it's showing here, as I say, in 3rd place is in that range where if there is a problem for either of the drivers ahead, the finals, particularly for Andy Collinson this year, has been very impressive. He's raced these heats smartly across the course of the year. Ooh, let's have a little look there. Andy Ward, not enough of an overlap on Jason Bear there to try and take 4th place. He's thinking about it. Last lap board about to come out then for Chris Thomas. He's had 5 races so far this weekend and is 1 tour of this circuit away from winning all 5 of those races. Mentioned in the interviews yesterday that he is planning to perhaps move on from at least driving in the Rotax 177 category, putting his kit up for sale, but it's getting one last hurrah this weekend. Down the hanger straight for the final time in this heat. Round Wilkins and to the line. And it really was easy as that for Chris Thomas, who takes the 2nd heat win of the weekend. Across the line goes Shane Collins. Good to see Shane Collins there in 2nd place. 3rd for Andy Collinson. More good points for the champion-elect. 4th for Jason Bear. Well held off there to hold that spot ahead of Andy Ward. Good to see Andy Ward and the karts delivering the performance and getting another top 5. Mark Patterson will be 6th. And that does indeed complete all of the 7 minutes plus 1 lap heats for this weekend and for the season. Finals from here on in for the final round of SuperOne 2023, and we'll kick things off here for round 12's finals with the C50 Bambino class. Their final is up next. Getting ready then for the first final of the day here at Shenington for round 12 of the 2023 Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships. Here is your grid for the C50 final. Toby Biggs, what a superb day Toby Biggs has had today. Starts this one from pole position, hasn't had a final win so far this season. Best results being a second place back at round 6. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀, currently on a 3 final winning streak. Is alongside there on the front row of the grid, Ronnie Kempton and 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀, who was so close to the final win yesterday, missed out by less than a tenth of a second, starts there on the second row. Harry Chapman and Jack Daniels will go from row number 3 in this one. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀, champion-elect, starts on the 4th row of the grid alongside Mason Muncher. 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Mickey Gonzalez go from row 5. Ollie West will look to repeat the strong final performance he had yesterday in round 11, starts on row 6 alongside 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Stubbs, who's put in a good number of overtakes so far today. Row 7 will have drivers going from the middle of the pack, Ernie Wade and Louis Wilson on that one. Elliot Payne and Arlo Gamble start on row 8. Jack Swong and Benjamin Schlever on row number 9. Logan Hodgetts and Tim McCalmans go from row number 10. Arthur Bowers and Oliver Daniels on row 11. William Wainwright and Noah Myberg start on row number 12, and Joshua Bailey will take up the spot there on row 13. It is a 25 kart field. Lots of things to be decided, of course, in the top 10 for this category. 𝗦𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 counting points at the moment, 1,243. Can still improve that score, of course, if 𝗦𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 could win this race. 𝗦𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 will be looking to close out second place in the championship. There is a chance for Harry Chapman still to take that spot. A great fight going on for kind of 4th downwards. Toby Biggs holding it at the moment on our live scores provisionally here in the box. Mason Hibbert, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 all involved in that one as well. So I say this is it's a final that's got lots in store for us here at Shenington. There's a slight pause. Oh, we saw that Charlie Cox's number 72 was needing to be recovered last time around. Engines firing in the dummy grid, I can hear. So sounds like we are going to be good for the C50 final. Toby Biggs on pole position. What a great day. Can Toby Biggs make it a perfect day here in the C50 Bambino category? It's been done numerous times, the clean sweep this year, but by a variety of drivers. Last time it was done in front of Alpha Live cameras. Harry Chapman back at round number 8, back at Fulbeck. 𝗦𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 alongside him on the front row. Another driver to do the clean sweep. We'll know what's going through the mind of Toby Biggs in the number 66 just before they roll out here. Other drivers I think to keep an eye out on this one. Mason Hibbert starting P9. Showed some really good pace in Heat 2 in particular. Jack Daniels as well. Didn't have the best of qualifyings, but responded fantastically and has done a lot of overtaking so far today. And of course starts a bit higher up the grid now, virtue of all that overtaking in the heats. So it could be a dark horse here, starting from the 3rd row of the grid. Formation lap underway then for the C50 Bambino category. They'll head round to the starting grid, form up their positions. If you're just joining us, you're watching live coverage of the final round of the year for the Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships. Andrew Mather from Double Dash Motorsport Media on commentary duties for you. And our last Bambino C50 race of the year. Biggs on pole position. 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 alongside on the front row. Kempson and Scher on row 2. Chapman and Daniels row 3. Pooley and Muncher row 4. Hibbert and Gonzalez completing the top 10. the drivers who would love a first win to wrap out their seasons. Both drivers on row 2. As an example, oh, now what's happening there? I think it's just a bit of repositioning. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀 onto the correct side of the grid. 3 of the top 4 have not had a final win so far this season. The one other driver is on a 3 final winning streak. Or could it be one of the drivers from further down the order who take this last opportunity for the biggest haul of points in one of these races for 2023? Grid being cleared then, ahead of the C50 final. Lights will be illuminated once they go out. We'll be racing. And away we do go. Good start for both of the drivers on the front row of the grid. Biggs hopping up and down in the seat will hold the lead as they run towards Cafe for the first time. Already, big gap between 𝗦𝗲𝗍 and the rest of the field. So do our 2 drivers who've been at the front of the order all day immediately go into that flying formation that they've executed so brilliantly in the heat so far today. We'll see in due course. Battle for 3rd place going on. 𝗦𝗍𝒀 and Harry Chapman side by side. Mason Munch has had a great start, diving down the inside, but I think maybe, no, I thought he was carrying a bit too much speed there through Stratford, just out of shot, but has re-emerged, I think, in around 6th place. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀's had a good start as well, and the number 31 is up to 5th place. LBJ Stubbs nearly out there on the curb, coming out of the Bruno chicane, but good start for Biggs and 𝗦𝗲𝗀. Continuing what we've seen so far today, these 9 minutes plus 1 lap heats. Finals, of course, now. They're doing exactly what they did in both of the races that we've seen for this category today. Look at that gap that they've got, 1.3 seconds back to Harry Chapman. 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 down the inside takes 4th place away from 𝗦𝗍𝒀, as Mason Munch is looking around the outside as well. I think there was one driver unfortunately off towards the back. It's the number 99 that's running around with his number plate slightly dislodged off the back. But Arthur Bowers, great to have Arthur here this weekend, running in 24th place. So, what do you do if you are Chapman, 𝗍𝒀, 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and the rest of them? Because so far today, haven't been able to come up with the answer to the pace of Biggs and 𝗦𝗲𝗀 at the front of this field. They've just been able to hold these top 2 positions. They've traded those 2 positions back and forth, of course. But nobody's been able to live with the pace of these 2 so far today. Chapman holding in 3rd place, but the gap is now 2.9 seconds between 2nd and 3rd. The rest of the field filing through. Jack Daniels has got past Mason Munch for 6th place. In fact, a bit of a help train going down the inside there. 𝗍𝒀, Daniels and 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 all line astern have all worked together there to get past Harry Chapman through Stratford at the early stages of lap number 3. Round onto Hanger they go. Mason Munch has got a really good run out of the Bruno chicane. It just fades a bit as they increase the power towards the top end of the straight. Down the inside now. Here comes Jack Daniels. We said to look out for Jack in that number 16 kart, that he'd done a lot of overtaking through the heats. Could he repeat it in the finals? He has been able to do it in the finals. He's up to 3rd place now. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 just behind in the number 31. 𝗦𝗍𝒀 in 5th place. 6th for Chapman, 7th for Munch. The quintet now. Let's see if they can start to pull this gap back in. 1 minute 1.5 last time around for Daniels. If you can find 4 or 5 tenths, they will start pulling Biggs and 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 back. But the question is that gap already too big? It's 3.6 seconds up to Henry 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 for this group, as Mason Hibbert started to arrive in this group. He's got down the inside of Mason Munch. I think Gonzalez has also gained a spot, at least in this one so far. Swapping back and forth, 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and Daniels. Daniels on the inside once again as they run through Wilkins. And my goodness me, look how close it is into Wilkins' corner. So 𝗦𝗍𝒀 have a little clip of the curb there. It's a big curb on the inside of Hanger Corner. Still Daniels holding there onto third place, but 𝗦𝗲𝗀 looking round the outside, may have the lane on the inside for the next corner, and does. Lovely stuff from 𝗦𝗲𝗀. Been so good to watch 𝗦𝗲𝗀 get faster and faster, read these overtakes as he's developed through this year. It's been a very, very good effort from 𝗦𝗲𝗀 in his rookie season. I'm sure wins are going to come in the future for 𝗦𝗲𝗀. Very nearly happened yesterday, of course, in the final. Led for a long, long time. In the end, Henry Algar was just able to find a move through on the final lap. And they'll have learned from that. They've learned what to do next time when it's in that situation. Look at Mickey Gonzalez coming through as well, the number 22 kart. The white, red and green colours of Mexico on his suit. He's gained a couple of positions here. Yeah, he's up to 5th place. 3 wide almost. Here comes Chapman down the inside. Takes 3rd place. What a pack we've got racing here. And there's getting more and more drivers involved as well. The number 13 of Ronnie Kempson is in the middle of all of this. You just see the white helmet there popping through shots. He's gained 2 positions already in this lap. Jack Daniels down the inside of 𝗦𝗲𝗀. Goes through into 4th place. Side by side between Chapman and 𝗦𝗲𝗀 once again. Here's 𝗦𝗲𝗄𝗍 coming back through all of this as well. I think this weekend in a way has been one of the hardest of the season so far for 𝗦𝗲𝗄𝗍. Everybody has stepped up their levels for the last meeting of the year. 𝗦𝗲𝗀 down the inside of Hibbert. Going through side by side now with Jack Daniels, and this could be an opportunity now for Hibbert to strike back, because there's going to be space on the inside of 𝗦𝗲𝗀 there to retake 5th place. Here comes 𝗦𝗲𝗄𝗍 as well on 𝗦𝗲𝗀, side by side between Mickey Gonzalez and Jack Daniels. What a brilliant race this has been so far for these drivers. All competing for the podium trophies. Trophies awarded to the top 6 overall in this category. Gonzalez down the inside of Hibbert. Has he run too deep though? No, good driving there from Mickey Gonzalez. Up into 4th place. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀 looking down the inside of Ronnie Kempson as they go through the Bruno chicane. Well, timing tower is going to be very busy, I think, for the course of this race, because every single corner the positions are changing. Gonzalez back down the inside, retakes 3rd place. Poor Jack Daniels just lost 3 positions there, didn't do anything wrong at all. And the momentum that some of these little trains are pushing here in the C50 Bambinos, meaning that where you position your kart is very, very important. You've got to think ahead if you're one of these Bambino drivers at the moment of where's the best place for me to be. Pretty much going into that last corner into Wilkins. We're still 90 seconds or so away from the timer running out as well. Meanwhile, for the order, Big still ahead of Algar. They're just keeping ticking these laps away. They won't fight till the last lap of this race. We've seen that in the 2 heats so far that we've had, one in the morning, one earlier on this afternoon. Mickey Gonzalez still 3rd place. Mason Hibbert has found a way up into 4th place. Ronnie Kempson now 5th. So great work from Ronnie Kempson. Started this lap 8th in the order. Could have an opportunity to go down the inside of Mason Hibbert here, go for 4th place, and does go for 4th place. Takes it brilliantly, does Ronnie Kempson. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀 fighting back again, side by side once more with Jack Daniels. Harry Chapman still in there as well. Is that Ollie West at the back of the group as well? Yes, it is. So Ollie West in the number 20 wants to join the fun and games here. All over 3rd place, half a minute on the clock to go. 2 more laps for all of our drivers out there. At the moment, it's almost like a jumble raffle for who's going to finish 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. This is also effectively the fight, but it is the fight for the top rookie trophy. The top 6 rookies receive trophies as well. Bit of side-to-side action there between 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀 and Gonzalez. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀 emerges in front as they go through the Bruno chicane for the penultimate time. Last lap board is going to be out very soon. You can see the leaders just coming round to start the last lap. Now, there they are. Toby Biggs still leads this race. We've got to think it's going to be one of these two then to take the final round of this year's Purgo SuperOne Bambino C50 Karting Championship. The question is it going to be Toby Biggs and a first win of the year in a final, or is it going to be 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀's fourth in a row? Biggs is going to defend down the line into Stratford. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 was in this position with 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝒀 24 hours ago, and it was 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 who found a way through to take the race win. Keeping an eye on the fight for third place as well. I mean, take your pick which one of Kempson, Hibbert, Daniels, Gonzalez, Chapman and all the rest are going to take that third place. But can 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 find a way past the number 66 of Toby Biggs? Hasn't been able to do so on the last lap of a race so far today. Toby Biggs has just got to get off the corner. He's going to take a fantastic clean sweep victory in the last round of the year. For the first time this year, Toby Biggs wins in the final. Second for 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 to culminate a fantastic second half of the season for 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Who got third on the line? It was Kempson. Kempson got it by 0.5 of a second ahead of Mickey Gonzalez in fourth. A really strong run for Mickey Gonzalez to finish there. Fifth place will be Mason Hibbert. Sixth for Rex Pooley. Seventh for Harry Chapman. Eighth Jack Daniels. Ninth for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. 10th for Mason Muncher. 11th for Ollie West. I'm just going to have a little quick calculation. That group from 3rd down to 11th were covered by less than 3.5 seconds across the line there. Fantastic stuff. Ernie Wade was 12th, 13th LBJ Stubbs. Louis Wilson and Arlo Gamble both in the top 15. Good drive there from Gamble on a first out run here in the Bambino C50s to get top 15. Samuel Calman 16th, Logan Hodgetts, William Wainwright, Oliver Daniels and Jack Swong all in the top 20. Elliot Payne 21st, Arthur Bowers 22nd, Benjamin Schlevo in 23rd and Noah Myberg in 24th place. Well, a big congratulations to Toby Biggs. A great race here today and a fantastic way to finish the season for Biggs in the number 66 kart. Well done to all of our Bambino C50s for their efforts in 2023. Been very entertaining to watch from the very first round of the season, and look forward to seeing all of those drivers racing in the future, of course. We're going to have to move on though, because the next final out on circuit for their last race of the season, it's Honda Cadet and Mini ROK. Let's take a look at the grid then for the round 12 final for Honda Cadet and Mini ROK. 12 drivers due to head out on circuit for this one. Cian Sullivan will be the first of them on pole position. It's an all-ambition motorsports front row. Max Tuddy, the champion-elect in Honda Cadets there, second on the grid. Jensen Walker has been fantastic today in this category. Starts on the second row of the grid alongside Connor J. Winfield. Archie Cannon and Luke McGall form up the third row of the grid. Charlie Kwan and Hendrix Bennett start on row 4. Charlie Gregg and J.M. Rakesh start on row 5. Isla Parsons completes the 11 Honda Cadet runners there on row 6 and is joined by Alexander Adams. So the field heading round to form up the grid. 9 minutes plus 1 lap. Someone's had a problem. That might be Max Talley. If I'm just peering through there, I think I saw the colours of an Ambition Motorsport kart facing the wrong way. It was Max Talley. So Max will be able to hop through and take second place on the grid, thankfully. I'll be hoping that he doesn't do that in the race, but at least in some ways, if he was going to do it at some point, best to do it before we've got going. Quick heart and mouth moment over then. Away we go for 9 minutes plus 1 lap. The last Honda Cadet 200 and Mini ROK final of the year. Alexander Adams gets going in the Mini ROK entry as well at the back there. And a good start for Cian Sullivan. Will lead down to Stratford for the first time in this one. Max Taddy got his thoughts back together. No problems there as they go through the first major braking zone on this circuit. Good start for Walker as well. It's up into third. I think Cannon has also hopped through into fourth. So good stuff there from Archie Cannon. All the Honda cadets running into the second half of the course then. Clouds still threatening here at Shenington, but so far right here over the circuit, bright sunshine. So fingers crossed the rain stays away for the rest of the afternoon. A scenario that we've seen quite a few times so far today in this category. 2 Ambition Motorsport Honda cadets at the front of the order. The difference this time, they're under quite a bit of pressure from Jensen Walker there in third place, Archie Cannon fourth. So much pressure, in fact, that Walker's down the inside, takes second place away from Taddy. Taddy tries to fight back here. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them, but they both keep running in the right direction. Taddy has retaken second place away from Walker as they run towards and through the Bruno chicane. But a very, very close moment there between Taddy and Walker. Cannon in fourth. Oh, but it's open the line there. Is that going to be opportunity for Winfield down the inside? Yes, it is. Beautifully done by Colin J. Winfield there. See what Cannon was trying to do, trying to go around the outside of Jensen Walker, but in doing so, invited Winfield in to take that fourth place. And a very well collected move there from the driver in karts number 27. Just looking further down the order, you can see there's a good scrap going on between Arla Parsons and Alexander Adams over 11th place in this order. Number 42, slightly out of line there, that's Archie Cannon. Trying to keep things intact with that fifth place ahead of Luke McGaul. It's actually got a really good run out of the Bruno chicane, so I think Cannon's trying to challenge for third place. Oh, once again, he's just lost out in the mix of all of that. Luke McGall's got through into fifth place. It's another thing that can typify this Shenington circuit. If you get out of a rhythm, particularly in something like Honda Cadet, always stays close as a pack. If you step out of line, out of the optimum racing line, you can lose positions. Into Stratford they go once again here on lap number 4. Sullivan leading from Taddy. And I've got to say, I've been so impressed with Keane Sullivan today. He's had to deal with not necessarily as much back and forth racing and overtaking, but a lot of dealing with pressure and expectation at the front of these orders. It's just throughout all of the racing so far today for this category, it's been calm, hasn't been looking rushed. He's quite happy to sit at the front of these orders and yes, have a big pack of karts behind him, but not get put off by those trying to find a way through and take his lead away from him. Change for 11th place. Alexander Adams has got past Isla Parsons. Jensen Walker defends to the inside to ward off any attempts from Colin J. Winfield to go down the inside. Cannon has another think about trying to get past Luke McGall there for 5th place. In the end, just returns back into the line. Charlie Quine doing another good job here. We saw this from Charlie in the second heat. His tactics: sit at the back, play it patient, wait for the order to break down in front of you and take positions that way. He's had some good speed so far today. And a driver from the Isle of Man. Halfway through this stage of this race then, Keane Sullivan still leads. That's a really nice lap last time around, 50.597. Not the fastest lap of the race so far, but a personal best for the race leader. About a tenth or so quicker than his teammates, and it's starting to get a little bit rough towards the back as Walker's come through, takes second place as they go through Stratford there. I think Cannon gained a position in all of that as well. There's a bit of 2x2 as they ran through the hairpin here on lap number 6. Charlie Quine still at the back of this group. Now this is a huge opportunity for Keane Sullivan. You don't often get this in a Honda Cadet race around this circuit. He has a gap. He's just got to keep eyes on the road, keep hitting the apexes, don't defend thin air, because this could be the opportunity for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀 to break away from the rest of the field and break the toe. That's the key bit. If you can get around a second and a half over the rest of the field, the likelihood is they will start fighting for second place. But this is the thing, when you've got a big group of karts behind you, naturally they'll be running a tenth and a half quicker in each sector, and that half-second lead that Sullivan has got will just start diminishing away. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths. And Max Taddy's looking for a move here. Takes a bit of the curb through hanger. Good line there from Jensen Walker. Left enough room that Max Taddy wasn't going to have any major problems, but not so much room that Max Taddy could go down the inside into Wilkins. Now there's enough room for Max Taddy to go down the inside. That's into Park. He's going to have to try and do it around the outside though and hold that line. Brilliantly done by Max Taddy. Back into second place. It was right on the edge of the track limit there, but Max Taddy got the job done. The two-part move through Park Bend and finished off through Cafe. So Ambition Motorsport drivers back to 1 and 2. Cutting Edge Racing, they're third place at the moment, with Jensen Walker onto the back straight to go once again. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀 continuing to lead this race, as Keane has done since the very start of things. Results so far this season, there have been wins on the board for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀. Round 7 is his last win in a final. It's going to be close between Sullivan and Walker for second place. It's one of those that we'll probably have to do counting back to make sure all the scores are correct. So, Cannon down the inside. It's half attacking, half defending at the moment. Trying to get back past Jensen Walker, but also trying to hold off Winfield and McCall. In fact, it has got past Winfield in all of that, the bright green helmet. He's now 4th in the queue. 1.5 minutes to go then. Change for 10th place overall. Alexander Adams has found a way past J.M. Prakesh. I say I've been really impressed with Alexander Adams' driving this weekend. He's had to deal with a lot, the tricky conditions yesterday. I think he's actually been using the larger field of Honda Cadets that we've got here this weekend. It's almost a new target to see how many of those drivers he can overtake out on circuit and beating the overall rankings. I think it's been a good weekend for Alexander in that regard. Third place fight is hotting up now. Archie Cannon's really closed in on Jensen Walker on this last lap or so. It'll be interesting to see. There's a bit of time to play with, but not a lot of time to play with. Probably want to give it at least another half lap if you're Walker and Cannon, of working together to see, can you close the gap to the two Ambition Motorsport drivers up ahead. And they're not doing a bad job of it at all, I would say, at least visually through the last couple of corners. Let's check what the pace is like. It's similar for both pairs. 2 more laps to go then. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀 continues to lead. That's a new personal best that time around for Sullivan, 50.516. Max Taddy tucked right behind, took the final victory yesterday. It's already been a very good birthday weekend for the Scottish driver in kart number 4. Side by side, beautifully done by Walker. It's under attack there from Archie Cannon. Just carried the speed into the Bruno chicane. Meant that he had control of the corner when they got to the little flick left. Comes up on a driver he can brake very late into the Bruno chicane. He's very much threading the needle through that part of the course, and Jensen Walker did that very well indeed. Final lap board out then. Are we going to see an inter-team battle here between Sullivan and Taddy? Is it going to be another victory for the champion-elect there? Currently second on the road. Or is 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀 going to take first final victory since we were back at Fulbeck? Well, I would say it's the best weekend so far for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀. Until now, this has been a super run for Keane this weekend. Second in the final yesterday. Can he go one better? This is where it's going to be decided. Into Wilkins for the final time. Foot to the floor for 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗀, who's going to take the final in Honda Cadet. A great way to finish the season. Second place for Max Taddy makes it a team 1-2. Jensen Walker third, Connor J. Winfield fourth, ahead of Archie Cannon in the top 5, Luke McGall sixth, Charlie Quine seventh, Charlie Gregg and Hendrix Bennett complete the first set of Honda runners down to 9th. Alexander Adams finishes in 10th place overall, J.M. Prakesh 11th and Isla Parsons 12th. Well, a really good run for Cian Sullivan, and he deserves that result. Takes the final victory of the season for Honda Cadet 200. Well, and to all of our Honda Cadets this year, they've been here today, or the other drivers that we've had across the course of the season. And well done to Max Taddy as well, once again, taking the title. Very well deserved indeed. Next race, though, is coming up straight away, and heading out onto circuit in a short few moments' time will be potentially one of the finals of the day, the last race of the season here in Super One for the 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino class. Been looking forward to this one. We've had some stunning finals so far this year in the 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino category, and we've got one more to go here at Shenington. Here is your grid for the 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino final. Harris Barber has pole position. Chester Fawkes, champion-elect, alongside on the front row. Oscar Kenny and Ralph Martin start on row number 2. Freddie Baker and Chloe McGill go from the 3rd row of the grid. William Crombie has been one of the stars of this season, starts this last race of the year on row 4 alongside Darren Dimitrov. Theo Jepson and Alfie Garrett start on row 5. Mickey Gonzalez goes back out for another final, starts on row 6 alongside Sophia Page. Row 7, Albert Farrow and Ethan Holm have work to do from that one. Max Joy and Buddy Batch start on row 8, and Ollie Liddle will be due there on row 9. It's a 17-kart field. And it's been so close so far today in 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino. 1 win apiece for Barber and Fawkes, 1 second apiece for them as well, so they were tied on points. The pole position for this race was determined by the fastest lap for either of those drivers so far today in racing conditions, and the separation was 2 thousandths of a second. Harris Barber taking this pole position virtue of a 55.237. Beating out Fawkes' 55.239. That's all in the past, though. 9 minutes plus 1 lap. The last race of the year for 𝗦𝗲𝗍 Bambino here in Super One 2023. It's going to be a corker. I can feel it. Who's going to win this one over 9 minutes plus 1 lap? Out go the lights and away we go. Good start for Barber on driver's left. Goes straight into the lead of the race. Chester Fawkes forms behind in second. Good scrap going on behind for 3rd place between Oscar Kenny and Ralph Martin. And I think that's going to go the way of Ralph Martin there. It is indeed, as they go down to Stratford for the first time. It's going to be Barber leading from Fawkes, and immediately Fawkes is on the attack down the inside, takes the lead of the race. Here comes Ralph Martin with a big send down the inside as well, takes second. Don't think Harris Barber was expecting that one. Now that has given us a developing situation. Not often seen this so far this weekend in this category, but Chester Fawkes has now got a good gap, a good lead over the rest of the field in the very early stages of the race. It's to the other drivers now. They've got to get themselves organised and back in line to close that gap up. There is a good group of them, though. Freddie Baker should form up a 4-kart group. End of lap number 1. Fawkes, Martin, Barber, Kenny, Baker. That's your top 5. Covered by 1.2 seconds. Darren Dimitrov's had a great start. Is up to 6th place. Chloe McGill holding there in 7th place. Mickey Gonzalez, Albert Farrow and Alfie Garrett. That is your top 10 at the moment. Through Stratford they go then. At the moment it does seem like Ralph Martin, Harris Barber, Oscar Kenny and Freddie Baker, they know what the score is here. Too early in the race to fight, and whilst Chester Fawkes has been brilliant this year, he has been beatable, and he is human. He can be pulled back in. That's exactly what's happening now. You can see Ralph Martin sitting in the wake of the number 38. It's naturally just pulling number 32 back up towards the rear bumper of Chester Fawkes. And just like that, we've got a 3-kart battle at the front of the order. Fawkes, Martin, Barber. A Sayer battle. They may just hold position right now. They can shake off 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗍 and Freddie Baker behind. That's 2 very fast drivers, both with capabilities in these finals. Remember, particularly for Freddie Baker back at Clay Pigeon, and a very strong run in another one of the highlight moments for this category in 2023. That day it was against William Crombie. William Crombie currently in 10th place. Can you see William going through the Bruno chicane? Chester Fawkes won't mind this right now though. He'll know what the score is. It's all change for second place there as through goes Harris Barber past Ralph Martin. And Harris Barber, who's built and built and built this confidence through the course of the season. Took until round 4 to get a spot in a top 3 of a race. That was in a final. Since then, it's got stronger and stronger and has an outside chance here of a very strong position in the scorings. He's trying to hold on to at least 4th place in the standings with this last race, and he's doing just that if he can stay there at least in 2nd place. Knowing that the driver ahead is already a driver further up the standings that can't be overhauled. So, in a way, for Harris Barber in his ranking situation, having a driver such as Chester Fawkes ahead as the only driver ahead of you is kind of a good situation. Of course, Barber would prefer to be ahead and picking up more points. At the moment, I don't think it would change anything in terms of the championship standings. Having said that, big trophy to win, of course, for these drivers. Fawkes and Barber, what's their pace like at the moment? It looks they're just on that edge of nearly pulling away from those behind. 55.1 for Fawkes last time around, 55.0 for Barber. The other drivers actually a touch quicker, I would say. So yeah, you can see Martin and Kenny, Oscar Kenny in particular, 54.9 last time around for Oscar Kenny there in karts number 48. And the purple and blue details on his race helmet there. Halfway through the time, as we've seen so many times so far this season in 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀 Bambino, you could take a decent guess at a winner of this race, but it wouldn't be a confidence one because we've got 4 drivers at the front here, all running exceptional pace. Some very good racecraft as well. Very good racing brains, even at this young age in the Bambino categories. Chester Fawkes continues to lead this one though, down into Stratford. Midway phase of this race. Keeping calm and cool. I'm sure I'll have a real story to tell in the paddock later on if he wins this race. He's been already testing some machinery a bit quicker than what he's been racing at the moment. And a lot of eyes are keen to see how Chester Fawkes gets on during the off-season and what he ends up racing going forward. Well supported by his family, as all of these drivers are, of course. Round 2 Cafe Corner here on lap number 7. No one's really made their move yet. Just a bit further down the order, you can see that Jepson and Crombie have both got past Ollie Liddell. But now is it starting to move a little bit. Fawkes feels the need to defend down the inside into Stratford. Oh, a bit of a nibble there from Ralph Martin on the back of Harris Barber. That was over 2nd place. And here comes Harris Barber. Has he got a no? Not quite enough of a run to get by Chester Fawkes. This circuit leans itself towards good racing with these kind of karts. Remember 12 months ago. No, we haven't got the level of championship drama for this race here today, but what we do know from 12 months ago when we had a similar 4-kart scrap at the front of the field is that they will stay close, and it could potentially change on the last lap as well. 2.5 minutes of this race to go then. Changes in the midfield as well. I think 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗀 has got through past Mickey Gonzalez, as has Darren Dimitrov. Again, Chester Forks places his kart so well, gets off the corners fantastically also, but Harris Barber's going to have a go here and try and go around the outside of Chester Forks through the Bruno chicane. Can he get that done? He can! What a move from Harris Barber. Ralph Martin hops through as well. Beautifully followed. Held the line. Here goes Martin down the inside. There's a little bit of a rub between the two of them as they go through Hanger Corner into Wilkins. Through goes Ralph Martin into the lead of the race. Well, we said it was going to be back and forth, and now the race has really begun in earnest. Barber holds to the inside, just holds third place there. Wards off for any attacks from 𝗦𝗻𝚀𝗍. That all started from the move by Harris Barber around the outside through the Bruno chicane. Just disrupted the rhythm of this group a little bit. And now the battle is on for the race win. Just over a minute to go on the clock. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Still time for any of these drivers to win this race. Oh, as here comes Harris Barber. Tries to shift to the inside. Chester Forks blocks the move. Chester Forks is now actually going for the lead of the race and takes the lead of the race before they even get to Wilkins. Down the inside goes Harris Barber for second place. Gets second place. It just shows again, the run off Bruno is so important in these machines. There will be overtakes into Wilkins with 2 laps to go. Both times I think there'll be overtakes into Wilkins before the end of this race. Ollie Little trying to fight back, has got back up to 9th place ahead of Chloe McGill. Through Stratford they go, good line from Chester Forks, but he's aware this is where Harris Barber went for an overtake before. It's not going to be this time. They're setting up for Wilkins. As I say, it's so key to get the good run out of the Bruno chicane. They've all got good runs out of the Bruno chicane. Harris Barber's trying to find which line to take to try and go through, defending to the inside. To the outside goes Ralph Martin. There's not as much grip out there. Has just lost the wheel of Harris Barber a touch onto the last lap of the race. The 4 have split into 2 twos now. Chester Forks still holds at the front of the order. Can he win one more final here in 𝗦𝗻𝗍𝗀𝗍 Bambino? Harris Barber has been a sensation these last few weeks. Can he repeat the results that he got at Wilton Mill a few weeks ago? It's a touch of an overlap there, but no, not enough speed for Harris Barber, but he's cut back again. I thought he was going to try and go around the outside through Bruno chicane once more. Ralph Martin's back in play. 𝗦𝗻𝗀𝗍𝗍's still in play as well. Harris Barber cuts to the inside. It's all going to be decided on Wilkins once again in the 𝗦𝗻𝗍𝗀𝗍 Bambino. Ralph Martin's cut to the inside as well. Chester Forks is down into 3rd. Through goes Ralph Martin. Is it going to be 3 wide side by side as they go towards the line? Who's going to take the win here at Shenington? It's going to be Ralph Martin by 0.064 of a second ahead of Harris Barber and Chester Forks. What a fantastic end to a sensational 𝗦𝗻𝗍𝗀𝗍 Bambino season. Ralph Martin wins from Harris Barber, Chester Forks, 𝗦𝗻𝗀𝗍𝗍𝗍. Freddie Baker comes home in 5th place ahead of Albert Farrow. Great drive from Albert there, moving up through the order in that final. 7th was Darren Dimitrov. 8th was Mickey Gonzalez. 9th, Ollie Little, and William Crombie completes the top 10. Well, genuinely, it's been a privilege to commentate on this class of 2023 in 𝗦𝗻𝗍𝗀𝗍 Bambino. They have very much been a favourite of mine this year. They've delivered excitement wherever you've looked, whenever we've raced, and a best of luck to all of those drivers in whatever they do next. Big race coming out next, though. One of the biggest of the day, if not the biggest of the day. The final in Micromax, the championship decider, is next. Right then, hold on to your hats and your points calculation apparatus, everybody. This is one race at the end of the season that will decide who is Micromax champion in Super 1 this year. Logan Rolfe and Jensen Sale have the front row of the grid. Jack Baker, who has a slight advantage in the points at the moment, starts row 2 alongside yesterday's final winner, Leo Livings. 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 and Sebastian Behrman start on row 3 with pretty much nothing to lose in this race. 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 has had a great day so far. Starts on the 4th row of the grid alongside Jensen Walker, 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 Masiokas on row 5. Noah Moulton and Amrit Singh Atwal on row 6. We're going to have to cut it short there because we're ready to go racing for 9 minutes plus 1 lap in arguably the most important race of the day. Into the first couple of corners they go. Good start for Logan Rolfe. Leads as they come out of Cafe for the first time. Second place for Jensen Sale. There is Jack Baker in 3rd place, running down towards Stratford for the first time in this one. Down the inside goes Baker, takes Sale, takes the lead of the race. What a move by Jack Baker, right when he needed it, but back comes Jensen Sale, side by side between the two leaders in the championship. Can Baker hold on? This is only lap 1, he can hold on, and now we'll start to try and get into a rhythm. But that was a big move from the 2nd row of the grid, down the inside to lead early stages here on lap 1. There's Logan Rolfe, he's the outsider. Does have a mathematical chance, but it's a slim chance. He's just got to go for it, win the race, and hope that things happen behind him. And he's gone down the inside to take the lead. Logan Rolfe to the front, helped by Jensen Sale just behind there in 2nd place. Jack Baker goes down to 3rd. Into Stratford then on lap 2. Leo Livings there in 4th place. Keep an eye out for 𝗦𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 as well. I wouldn't put it past someone like 𝗦𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 to be the winner in this final whilst the others scrap for the points. Because as I say, he's got nothing to lose but has had very, very good form, particularly since the wet round at Wilton at the start of this month. 7.5 minutes to go. Here goes Leo Livings down the inside on Jack Baker, takes 3rd place. Well, Leo Livings, points-wise, is out of it, but that is a huge moment and a huge move that helps either one of his Gear Up Racing teammates. Top 5 have driven off the front of the field. Sebastian Behrman has got past Jensen Walker for 6th place here on lap number 3. Down the inside goes Sale to take the lead. Had to get that move done now. What are the tactics? What is going to be played here amongst these top 5 as Jensen Sale has now cycled to the front of the order? This is likely going to be one that's going to be too close to call at the end, but from the provisional calcs in the box, that would leave Sale on 1192. Jack Baker would be on 1186. Logan Rolfe would be on 1176. So right now Jensen Sale is doing what he needs to do. In fact, in some ways, it doesn't need to focus on what's happening behind him. He just needs to go out and win this race. Because the points tallies us that close. Even if Jack Baker was to finish in 2nd place, it would still be to the benefit of Sale. Baker's desperately trying to find a way past Leo Livings there. Momentarily got down the inside and into 3rd place. And in the end falls behind now. For reference, if Jack Baker was to finish 2nd, with Jensen Sale winning the race, it's, by my calculations, and I stress that is very provisional, would be short by 3 points. Into the mid-phase of this race then. So tense in this one. This was always going to be the one that was going to go to the end. We predicted that in which the start of the Wilton Mill weekend. It's been a season where there's been so many exemplary performances, but no one's been dominant round after round after round. Each driver has had their good days, each driver has had their not so good days. What's brilliant is that it feels like everybody has brought their A game to Shenington this weekend. But only one of these drivers can be champion. Jensen Sale continues to lead this race. Logan Rolfe's going to go down the inside though for the lead. Remember, he just needs to go out there and win the race himself and hope that things happen behind him. There's not going to be any team orders, I think, in this one. Logan Rolfe has got a championship and a title to win for himself as 𝗦𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Travis goes down the inside, takes Jack Baker's 4th place. That's a big one. That is a big one in terms of the championship situation. So provisional points would stand like this. It would still be advantage Sale on 1190. Second place would be Jack Baker 1185. Logan Rolfe, to just show the level of what needs to happen behind him, is on 1178. He can do no better than that, but he's throwing everything here. He's got a lot of support. So on his social media earlier on this weekend, he's been having support from the KZ2 European champion Freddie Slater, who's racing at Donington this weekend. Very likeable character in the pit lane is Logan Rolfe. Contact warning for 𝗦𝗲𝗍 𝗀𝗏. Key thing now is that the 3 Gear Up Racing drivers doing brilliantly. They are pulling a gap now on Elliot Travis and Jack Baker behind. This is a really tough phase of the race now for Jack Baker, because he can see he needs to get up there. He needs to get right up to the front. He needs to win this race, and he can see the lead karts just breaking away now, and the chances to win this title realistically starting to slip away. 3.5 minutes to go. Still Rolfe leading, Sale second, Livings in third. From a Jensen Sale perspective, no real reason to go for a big send right now. This is enough. This is enough by the calculations. Also, of course, do not pick up any penalties. The worst thing for any of these drivers, but particularly for Jensen Sale, was to pick up something like a front bumper. It's got to be clean, it's got to be consistent for the remaining 3 minutes plus 1 lap in this race. Take a moment to look further down the order. I can see that Benediktas Masiokas has made an overtake on 𝗦𝗍𝗍 𝗀𝗏, so Masiokas up to 11th spot. Good news for Jensen Sale now is that they're pulling away from Leo Livings. This is all not good news for Jack Baker. I was saying that was the fastest lap last time around from Jack Baker, 48.428. Got to give it to him. He is not giving this one up. That was right at the point where he needed it. You would arguably say that Jack Baker's coming back into this. As, oh, off there, that is Masiokas and 𝗀𝗏. So the number 12 and the number 13, I think that's going to be down at Wilkins Corner. Both drivers out of the cart and on their feet, which is the most important thing, and looking okay. There's going to be yellow flags out now down at the bottom end of the circuit through Wilkins Corner. There's not going to be an opportunity to overtake. Marshall's doing some great work to clear the circuit. There is your yellow flag, so it'll have to hold stationary now. That'll be a frustrating moment for Jack Baker. Would have been backing himself to have a go into Wilkins. That's an opportunity to make such a move gone. He's actually lost the wheel of Elliot Travis now. So still Rolfe from Sale, Livings, 1, 2, 3. Clean sweep at the moment for Gear Up Racing team. Elliot Travis still there in 4th place. Baker in 5th. To reiterate, at the moment we think that this is enough for Jensen Sale to take the championship by a very small margin. It could be smaller, but still, when you're talking about 1,000 plus points, is what these drivers score across the course of one of these seasons. 5, 4, you know, single digits, not a lot of room for error at all. Still yellow flags out down at Wilkins Corner. Again, that's actually very helpful for Jensen Sale right now. It's neutralising one of the main overtaking areas of this circuit. Sebastian Behrman's coming back into this as well. He's currently in 6th place. We're well deserving of a good result here today. Another driver who's improved massively across the course of the season. Baker down the inside, takes 4th place. That's the right direction. That's where he needs to go. That's a point gained. But he needs to find more. He needs to find a way past Leo Livings. He then needs to find a way past Jensen Sale. And still it'd be so close for them. Quite crucial here is this going to be last lap time? Is the last lap board going to come out? It's very close on the line. I don't think it did. I don't think the last lap board did come out there. That is good news for Jack Baker. More opportunities to potentially overtake. Still Rolfe ahead of Sale. Livings is the best friend right now for Jensen Sale. He's holding off Jack Baker from being in striking distance for his second place and potentially for the championship as well through the Bruno chicane for the penultimate time. That bit we're pretty certain of. I've not seen any notification for last lap, so this will be the penultimate lap. Livings defends down the inside, but Jack Baker's not close enough to take advantage. There's a bit of a gap between second and third place now. Last lap board is out. Jensen Sale is 1 lap away from becoming Micromax champion here in the 2023 Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships. His teammate just ahead, Logan Rolfe, is on to win the round, but is too far back in the points to make a difference. Jack Baker desperately trying to find his way past Leo Livings. Can't do. That's another big opportunity gone as they go through Stratford, through Bruno chicane now. The pressure on these young drivers in this last final of the year. Logan Rolfe leads into Wilkins for the final time. Jensen Sale's just got to get off the corner. Third place for Leo Livings. What a day it's going to be for 𝗬𝗲𝗄 Racing. Jack Baker in fourth. The celebrations are there. 1, 2, 3 across the line for Rolfe, Sale and Livings. Jack Baker through everything at that is classified in fourth. Elliot Travis finishes in fifth. 6th for Sebastian Behrman, 7th for 𝗬𝗄𝗍𝗀 𝗏𝗏, 8th for Harper Das, 9th Noah Moulton, 10th for Sebastian Clark. We should stress this is provisional, but if that result does stand, by my calculations, it would finish thus. Jensen Sale, 1,190 points. Jack Baker, 1,186 points. Logan Rolfe, 1,178. If that is the case, what a season for all three of those drivers. What a final to finish off things in Micromax for 2023. From round one, it's been back and forth. What a season. What a set of drivers. We wish them the best of luck as well for whatever they do next. We're going to have to move on, though, because the next the next class are heading out on circuit right now. Intermax final is up next. Oh, let's catch our breath then before the Intermax final. 6 karts out there on circuit. Let's have a look at how they form up for the final. JJ Plowman is on pole position. Charlie Benson P2. Teddy Cooper and Benjamin Lawn on row 2. Adam Turacek and ROK Thompson completes the 6 runners here in the Intermax final. Ready to go then for 9 minutes plus 1 lap in the Intermax final. Last race of the year for these 6 drivers in SuperOne 2023. Great start for JJ Plowman. Teddy Cooper straight up into second place. Past Charlie Benson there in third place. And heading down to Stratford to go for the first time. Benjamin Lawn in fourth place there. Very much keep an eye on Benjamin Lawn in this race. Last time we saw Benjamin in front of the Alpha Live cameras in our final, that was the tremendous race that he had back with Adam Turacek at Fulbeck, of course. It's definitely going in the highlight reel at the end of the year. One of the top 10 races seen in 2023. Looking for another one here. Top 5 are breaking away from ROK Thompson, who had technical problems earlier on. I think he's got more problems again. It's one of those inevitable rock backs of a driver's head when they know that something's not going right for them and they're not going to be in the fight for a win. Bit wide there for Plowman, side by side with Cooper as they head towards the Bruno chicane. And Teddy Cooper's going to find a way through there. Very well done from Cooper. Just took advantage of Plowman running. There's the curb on the left-hand side, driver's left-hand side as they come out of Stratford, which the slightly smaller karts can be a bit of a hindrance. Can unsettle the kart if you run too wide and get on it. And that's it. I think that's what happened to Plowman there. That was enough of an opportunity for Teddy Cooper to get down the inside, take the lead of this race. Still a long way to go, of course. Those 7.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Adam 𝗬𝗍𝗍 has found a way up to 4th place. One of the carts came past there with potentially a ringing noise past the commentary box window. I don't know if there's one of them with a problem out there. Ringing more than normal. Might just be able to pick it up on the camera there as they go through the Bruno chicane. Good move there by Charlie Benson, through and into 2nd place past JJ Plowman. Cooper and Benson have had a number of good 1v1 battles so far this year. I don't think he's got to be completely 1v1 today, because these 5 drivers have had strong pace throughout the course of the day. Side by side once again, this time between Plowman and 𝗬𝗍𝗍, going through Pitts Bend, and back into 3rd goes JJ Plowman. Oh, now was that Benjamin Lawn going off the road? It did seem like, yes, he's back on the road now, well recovered by Benjamin Lawn. That looks like, for a hot split second, a bit of a scary one. Onto the grass, just on driver's left on the approach to Stratford. It's one of those where, from my vantage point, I just saw a cart zooming off into the distance, but well done to Benjamin Lawn. Once again, like we saw earlier with his off down at Wilkins in heat number 2. Keeps it pointing in the right direction, gets back out on circuit. Hopefully has enough time to close back up to the quartet now at the front of the order. Brooke Thompson still continuing, by the way. About 3 seconds back from the leading drivers. Down the inside, great move by Charlie Benson. Takes the lead of the race as they go through Stratford. On to lap number 5 then. Teddy Cooper, champion-elect, of course. JJ Plowman has had some great pace today. I was saying that JJ Plowman's pace seemed to be deserting him. Oh, a bit of a tangle there between Cooper and Benson, but they managed to get out of the corner, still in that order of Benson. Cooper not happy at all. There's a bit of a wave at Plowman and 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Back down the inside of 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Nearly gets Plowman as well there for 2nd place. Benjamin Lawn has just set the fastest lap of the race. It's similar to what we saw for Benjamin Lawn yesterday in heat number 2. That's why I'm not completely ruling him out of this one yet, with best part of 5 minutes to go. Because he closed in a huge gap in a similar scenario 24 hours ago. Could do so again. Good news from the for the weather aficionados in the paddock and also watching at home. Blue sky. That threat of rain that we had earlier has passed. The clouds starting to break here, and any rain being dumped away from the circuit. Just over 4 minutes to go then. Still Charlie Benson leading ahead of JJ Plowman. Cooper 3rd, 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 4th. Pace at the moment for these drivers all in the mid to high 46s. Fastest of them being Plowman on that 46.699. Out onto the hanger straight once again here on lap 7. Benjamin Lawn's pace in comparison kind of similar as Plowman's looking down the inside of Benson and gets through. Great move by Plowman. Got a lane on the inside. Benson gave him room. Did try to squeeze him too hard, but the critical bit was hitting that apex. And JJ Plowman did exactly that. JJ Plowman, best results so far this year in one of these finals is a 3rd place. This would be a fantastic way to finish his season if he could take a 1st win of the year. He was 6th yesterday in the classification. Still got the job of 3 minutes remaining in this race to deal with all of that. 3 drivers behind who have all had their moments in the sun in Intermax in 2023. Oh, his Plowman's a bit wide. He missed the apex that time, and Benson's going to be through round the outside as they came away from Wilkins. Nearly 4 wide as they go into Park Bend there. 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍 down the inside of Cooper for a moment, who then has the switchback as they go through Cafe. I know it might have been a bit staggered, but with the camera angle that we had here in the box, it looked like that was going to be an almighty moment through Park. And well done to all 4 of these drivers, keeping it clean once again. Benson continues to lead ahead of Plowman. 2 1/4 minutes to go Benjamin Lawn has got past Rook Thompson, is now into 5th place. But the more important thing for Benjamin Lawn, the gap is 5 seconds to the lead 4. He needs some major fighting to happen up ahead of him if he's going to be back in the discussion for a top 3 here today. As here comes Teddy Cooper once again down the inside, going for 2nd place. 𝗬𝗍𝗃 attacking Ploughman as well for his 3rd. Ploughman holds on, only loses 1 spot there. Rook Thompson comes past the commentary box, kart sounding a little bit ill down in the bottom. That's through for 𝗬𝗍𝗃. Nice clean overtake through and into Stratford Corner. JJ Ploughman's just got to get himself back together here. He does have that pace to win this race. As side by side between Cooper and Benson, and Cooper's going to be through and retakes the lead of this race with 1:10 to go. Now that's good news for Ploughman, and 𝗬𝗍𝗃 just gives them the opportunity to try and pull back in. The group of 4 is a bit fractured at the moment. Benjamin Lawn continued to push on. He is quicker, but we're talking by tenths and not seconds, and seconds is what he needs. Down the inside goes Benson, retakes the lead of the race away from Teddy Cooper. They swap once more. Not a lot of time to go here. Ploughman and 𝗬𝗍𝗃 have worked really well that last couple of corners. They've brought themselves back in. Bit of an adjustment for Teddy Cooper. He's now going to go down the inside of Charlie Benson. They're going to swap positions again. Can Ploughman get that lane as well to take 2nd place away from Benson? No, he's not. He's now going to be vulnerable to 𝗬𝗍𝗃 on the inside. May lose 3rd place. 2 laps to go then. Teddy Cooper leads by just under 0.3 of a second from Charlie Benson, Adam 𝗬𝗍𝗃 and JJ Ploughman. Big lap this for the chasing 3. I think tactics-wise, they just need to hold line astern. Don't let Teddy Cooper get too far away if either of those 3 drivers want to win this race. The run out of here being particularly key. The close him to be right on the rear bumper of the number 79. He's already scored required number of points to finish at the top of the standings for this year. Is he going to take one more final? It's a half decent run through those couple of corners for Benson and 𝗬𝗍𝗃. JJ Ploughman's effort seems to be fading a little bit unless he has an absolutely storming next couple of corners to get back onto the rear bumper of Adam 𝗬𝗍𝗃. He might be helped by Teddy Cooper defending. Big contact between Benson and 𝗬𝗍𝗃. They're both okay. 𝗬𝗍𝗃 was, well, at least the front end of the cart was up in the air for a short moment there. That's allowed Ploughman back into this. So Ploughman hasn't faded yet. He's still got an opportunity side by side between Cooper and Benson. Cooper shuts the door as they go through Hanger. One last opportunity down the inside. Good driving there from Teddy Cooper, who's surely got this one in the bag. Has just got to get off the corner to the line. Teddy Cooper wins at Shenington and takes the final race in SuperOne Intermax for 2023. 2nd place for Charlie Benson. JJ Ploughman finishes in 3rd. 4th for Adam 𝗬𝗍𝗃. Good to see Adam back after what was a really scary moment there down at Stratford. 5th place for Benjamin Lawn, who will be in a case of what might have been this weekend. Good sportsmanship I could see down below me between Cooper and Benson, both of them congratulating each other on a great drive. 6th place for Rook Thompson, who retired there with technical problems. And there we go. That is Intermax done for the year. Teddy Cooper's 2023 championship finishes with a final win. We've got to move on though, because the senior Rotax category, they're out next. Senior Rotax grid very quickly looks like this. Finley Watson and Joe Weaver on the front row of the grid. Harry Pullen and Cameron Crockett row 2. Elliot Thomas and Tom Patterson row 3. Tom Taylor and Jake Richards row 4. 5th row of the grid. Shane Collinson and Oliver Hutchins. Finley Patterson and Jamie Bradfield on row 6. Shane Collins completes the 13 karts field. Getting ready then for Senior Rotax and their last final of the season. One more battle between Watson and Weaver over 9 minutes plus 1 lap. But in the early stages, it's Harry Pullen who's come through to take the challenge to Finley Watson, straight up to second place. Joe Weaver now down to 4th place, maybe even 5th place. He's having to deal with Cameron Crockett round the outside. Everybody else getting their way through Stratford Corner there, but that's a great start for Finley Watson. Green flags waving to show clear circuit ahead. Finley Watson not had to deal so far today with Harry Pullen just behind. It's been Joe Weaver all the way in the heat racing. Harry taking that opportunity late on in the second heat to be classified second. It's a really good move down into Wilkins. We wanting to push Finley Watson all the way. Joe Weaver's trying to find a way past 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀 is down the inside, going for 3rd place. Beautifully done. Textbook move once again from Joe Weaver. Point there from 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 to say, yep, that's fine, I'll work with you. Try and make it a 4-way battle for the lead of this race. Into Wilkins to go then. Everyone taking the optimum racing line. That very late apex round, Wilkins. The benefit, you get a good amount of speed all the way through this part of the course until you get to Cafe Corner. Short, sharp stab on the brakes. A bit tricky this weekend with the conditions, both track and weather. Talking with some of the folks. Oh, it's side by side there between Pullen and Weaver, and through goes Joe Weaver. So I think Harry Pullen again was a touch wide, like was said earlier about the curb on driver's left. Just lost a touch of momentum and let Joe Weaver through there. I don't think he was going to fight that one too hard. Recognise that if you can get Joe Weaver at the front, he's at the pace today to tackle Finley Watson's pace. With him at the front, 2 karts behind helping along, it's probably the most likely order that's going to be successful in closing the race leader down, who's just set the fastest lap of the race so far, a 42.026. 0.8 of a second is the advantage for Finley Watson, who with this drive would be securing second place in the championship. Through and onto Hangar they go then, lap 4. Joe Weaver is actually breaking away from Harry Pullen now. The next couple of laps will tell us whether that is a help or a hindrance right at this moment. Oh no, I think it's going to be a help, because Joe's pace quicker than Finley Watson, even though he didn't have any help in the form of a bump draft from behind. Lead is down to 6.5 tenths. This lap will be very key, telling us what the story is going to be like in the second half of this race. Tom Taylor's coming through, it's up to 6th place. Jake Richards has also gained a spot past Finley Patterson for 9th. To Wilkins once again. Tom Taylor trying to go down the inside of Cameron Crockett there. Good defence by Cameron Crockett, holds the lane round the outside, retains 5th place. Clouded over a little bit more here at the circuit. The sun's disappeared behind the clouds. New fastest lap of the race from Joe Weaver, 41.972. He's edging in here. Finley Watson pushing hard, getting a bit of yaw going there with the karts, sideways through Bruno chicane. Pullen and Thomas also not giving this one up either. As Taylor down the inside and contact with Crockett, both of them back on circuit, but Tom Taylor at a much slower pace, and all the work for Tom Taylor in the early few laps of this race goes away, falls down the order and out of the top 10. Pace, what's it looking like? It's close, very close, but crucially for Weaver, he's 0.5 tenth a lap quicker. Gap is now 0.45 of a second after lap number 6. It's another one of those races here at Shenington where there is simply no margin for error. 4 minutes remaining on the clock. It's a good number of laps for Joe Weaver to try and close in this lead for Finley Watson. Finley Watson is having a fantastic weekend. Won the final yesterday. Elliot Thomas wants to go down the inside of Harry Pullen. This is over third place. Good defence by Pullen. Holds round the outside and retains third place. One of the carts, I think it might be Tom Taylor, has come into pit lane and may be done for this final. Big response from Finley Watson on the last lap and this lap so far. He starts to drop his lap times now as well. 41.979 that time around. It's the first time that Watson's been under the 42 second mark. It's throwing it back in the direction of Joe Weaver. What can he do? Well, he can set the new fastest lap of the race. The gap keeps going back and forth between 4, 5, 6 tenths of a second. And for Finley Watson, that's perfectly okay, because each lap goes by, he gets a little bit closer to getting one over here on Joe Weaver in the last round of the season. There's Pullen and Thomas. So third and fourth places for them. 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Watson continues to lead from Weaver, but Weaver is closing in. That is for sure. Pullen, Thomas, Patterson, Crockett, Hutchings, Richards, Patterson, Collinson. That is your top 10. Championship points wise decided, of course. Already in this one in the favour of Joe Weaver. You know, watching Joe Weaver over the past few years, all he needs is one opportunity and he will snap upon it. I think what else has been really good to watch this year between these two drivers is just how clean the battles have been. A lot of respect between Watson and Weaver across the course of 2023. They've enjoyed racing one another for this championship. And Joe, in his own words, he's had to raise his game this year to defend this number one plate. At the same time as all the responsibilities of running his own team. There's his teammates, of course. In third place, Harry Pullen. Driving coaching to a lot of other drivers in this paddock. Lots of things to juggle if you are Joe Weaver. Moving forward as well, of course, Joe moving into cars next year. A racing capacity. He'll be missed in this paddock. It's been a pleasure watching him race the last few years and to commentate on as well. With 60 seconds to go on the clock, is there one final flourish from the senior Rotax category here this year? Moves for 8th and 9th places. Shane Collinson and Finley Patterson have both got past Oliver Hutchings. Weaver getting closer all the time. Watson pushing to the very edge as well. The level that these two drivers have produced this year has been fantastic, and it's not done yet. 2 more laps to go then. It's about 30 seconds on the clock as they come over the line. Watson still ahead of Weaver, and Weaver's chipped away at this lead, and now you would say he's within striking distance of Finley Watson. But overtaking Finley Watson is one of those things that's easier said than done. He's looking for the outside, he's looking for the switchback and the advantage into 𝗦𝗲𝗍 chicane, but that's beautifully dealt with by Finley Watson. Saw it coming, made sure that he got good speed off of the hairpin. No overlap for Joe Weaver that time around. Has Joe Weaver showed his cards too early here? There'll still be one more lap after this one. Watson, with the speed that he has through Hanger and towards Wilkins, doesn't really need to defend that hard. Bit of an adjustment for Weaver. They are now on the final lap. Finley Watson has led this race from the green flag. He's got one more lap here at Shenington to take a double final victory here this weekend. One of his best performances of 2023. To the inside. He's got to get good straight line speed off of the hairpin. He has got good straight line speed off of the hairpin, and he's keeping Joe Weaver, champion-elect, at bay through the 𝗦𝗍𝗍 chicane for one last time. It's one more big move if you're Joe Weaver. It's down into Wilkins. Surely Watson will defend down the inside. And Weaver's gone down the inside. There's contact between the two of them, but there's good speed for Watson off the corner. Weaver through everything. 2 wins in 2 in finals for Finley Watson. He's the king of Shenington in senior Rotax this year's Super One meeting. A brilliant finish. Little bit of contact between the two of them, but I think Joe Weaver was always going to throw something at Finley Watson there. Finley Watson stayed calm and crucially got the speed off the corner to win in that final. Harry Pullen completes the podium in 3rd. Elliot Thomas, that's really strong run for Elliot Thomas there in 4th. 5th for Tom Patterson, 6th for Cameron Crockett. Jake Richards, Shane Collinson, Finley Patterson and Shane Collins complete the top 10. Oliver Hutchings in 11th, Jamie Bradfield 12th and Tom Taylor the single retirement in that race. Well, that's senior Rotax done for this year. I'll head back to the paddock for their podium celebrations. Next out on circuit is junior Rotax. Quick run through your grid then for junior Rotax. 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗶𝗀 and Aidan Hassan on the front row of the grid. Callum Gush and Mallow Manderson on row number 2. Billy Edgecombe and Jake Woods on row 3. Ethan Hay and Jasmine Taylor will form up row 4. Jake Flewitt and Harrison Morrow on row 5. Albert Wilton and Ben Horner on row 6. Daniel Whitfield and Joseph Murphy on row 7. Joshua Whitcomb and Jake Howarth on row 8. Miles Roby and Harry Holland row 9. Toby Bedford and Harry Smith row 10. Kieran Denyer and Logan Cowling row 11. Row 12. Jensen Powers and Jaden Hewitt, row 13, Jack Briscoe and Max Rowley, DeShaun Bennett and Caden Welsh and Charlie Cox all due to start from the back of the grid, and that's going to be a false start. And we'll go around again for another formation lap. Well, what a day so far for 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗀. It's come close to, well, I'd come close to wins so far this season, particularly at Wilton Mill, but hadn't had one in the classification. That was until Heat 1 this morning. Since then, Emily's won Heat 2. 68 points from a possible 68. Pole position here for this final. And an opportunity to become the first female final winner in a round of Super One for a good number of years. Just the small matter of the reigning champion, the champion-elect, alongside on the front row. Aidan Hassan, a driver with such an impeccable record round this circuit. The last 2 round 12 junior finals, Aidan Hassan's had championship scenarios to be dealing with. Last year in this class, junior Rotax, and the year before in junior ROK. Not so much this year. Championship is already sealed points wise for Aidan Hassan, but he is one competitive driver and he will want to finish this season with another A final victory. Callum Rush has had a good run so far this weekend as well. It's there on row 2. How he'd love to finish the season with a flourish. Are we good to go then for 9 minutes plus 1 lap for the last time this year in junior Rotax for Super One 2023? Good start for Cotty. Bit of a sideways moment for Gosh going through and into Cafe, but it's a good start. They're all clear and running down towards Stratford for the first time here in this one. Hassan trying to go around the outside of Cotty there as they go into Stratford here on lap number 1. Are they all going to make it through? Yes, they are. But it's Cotty and Hassan off the front of the group now. If they can work together, they can break that gap and lead everybody else to fire. There's one driver off through the Bruno chicane, but they're deep in the tyre wall, so deep I can't actually identify which driver it is from our angle here. So yellow flags will be covering at least in the Bruno chicane. End of lap number 1 then. Cotty leads, Hassan second, Milo Manderson in third, Callum Gosh is up in 4th place. It might be Harry Holland. So the number 77 did come across the line to start lap 1, but has not come round to end it. Contact warning for Charlie Cox. There you see the yellow flags out there through Bruno chicane. End of lap 2 then. Cotty still leads. Cotty and Hassan The two rally replay drivers just working together at the moment, doing exactly what they should be doing. So at the moment they've got a good advantage over the rest of the field. Milo Manderson there in third place, fourth for Callum Gush, and Ethan Hayes had a good day, up in fifth place. You get good odds on Ethan Hayes coming through to potentially get the top three. The good news, by the way, Harry Holland, whilst disappointed, is out of the cart on his feet and walking to the marshal post, so no concerns of that nature there. Just very disappointing to have the last final of the year in SuperOne end so quickly. 7 minutes of this race to go. Fastest driver out on circuit at the moment, Ethan Hay in 5th place, 42.713. Top 6 covered by less than 2 seconds at the moment. You get this the impression with 3rd, 4th and 5th that they are starting to work together now to try and close down these two leaders. 0.8 of a second was the gap last time around. A few changes further down the order just to report. Toby Bedford has got past Jaden Hewitt. Max Rowley and Kieran Denyer have also gained positions. Yellow flags out through Hanger. Now, I think there's 2 carts off I can see from the distance out of the window. 2 drivers both on their feet trying to recover their carts, but that may have been a quite significant off there. And oh yes, the number 55 is one of the carts involved with the rear bumper deranged. That's Miles Roby, and I think that was Joshua Whitcomb down there as well, and the number 73. That's a real shame for Whitcomb. Guest appearance this weekend. He's done a lot of overtaking. Yellow flags will of course be out through Hanger there, but most importantly, drivers all okay. 5.5 minutes to go. 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗶𝗲𝗀 still leading this race then from Aidan Hassan. Milo Manderson just under a second behind. Pace of the top 5, very even indeed. Oh, Jensen Powers is out. It's been a torrid weekend for Jensen Powers. Had problems in qualifying, and his race ends on lap number 5 here in the final. That is Miles Roby's kart. Well, either way, if it does get running again, it'll have to come straight back to the pits, because that bumper loose on the rear of the kart would get mechanical flagged as a minimum. 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go. At the moment, this race in control for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 and Hassan. Fending off any attempts from Manderson, Goshen, Haig behind to close in. Billy Edgecombe not out of this as well. Is running in 6th place, 1.5 back. And Jake Fluid. Jake Fluid had a very good run last year here at Shenington. Likes this place. Performs well around the old airfield. So to 7th place. Very nice stuff indeed. Another one of the JWR drivers. I think Miles Roby is going to try and recover the kart back to the pits. But as I say, he's not going to be able to continue with the kart in the state that it is, I'd imagine. 4 minutes to go. Gap is coming down by a 10th here or there. I think for Manderson, Gosh and Hay, they really need to start eating into the lead over the next lap or so if they're going to have an opportunity to win this race. There's a slow-moving number 73 just up the road. That's going to be the recovering Joshua Whitcomb after his involvement in the incident down at... and yes, the number 55 is now in, and the number 72 of Charlie Cox is also in. At the end of a really tough day for Charlie, who similarly has had technical issues across the course of the heats, and unfortunately now the final as well. Oh, good move there by Ethan Hayes. Got down the inside of Callum Gush for 4th place. Has decided now's the time with 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Feeling he was too far back down the order. Lost out a little bit to Milo Manderson in all of that. And I think with the pace that we've seen in the number 27 kart today, he will be able to push back up there. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. 𝗦𝗶𝗲𝗀 and Hassan 1 and 2 still, as they have been since the start of this race, as they were in heat number 2 as well. Contact warning for the number 33 of Max Rowley. 𝗦𝗲𝗲𝗀 is doing a really good job here. He just keeps chipping a 10th off here and there. Half a second behind Hassan now. There's still a good number of laps in this race to go. Just note that 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀 got through past 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀 as well. So 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀, who was your winner at Clay Pigeon, is up to 5th place. Contact warning for Jake Woods. Good run in heat number 2 earlier. Difficult time in heat 1. Started this final a little bit further down than he would have liked. He's up into the top 10 though, just ahead of Jasmine Taylor and Jake Howarth. Jake still very much in the reckoning for 2nd place in the championship. Down into Stratford they go. There's been a problem for Jake Woods. You see he's just come past our commentary box window off the pace in the number 40. And, I think that'll be any chances of a top 10 gone. It's been a difficult season for Woods, I'm afraid. 1 minute and 15 to go. What have Manderson, Hay, Edgecombe, Ghosh, what have they got in the locker? Manderson is down to, well, I'd say he's down to 0.8 of a second. His relative gap to the leader is actually going out. The gap to 2nd place is diminishing. But I think for 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀, that's not the one that he'll be focused on at the minute. 49 seconds of this race to go. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 looking to make a little bit of history here. It's been a good while since we've had a female winner of a round of SuperOne. And that was in a much smaller field as well, Holly Woolley a few years ago. You've got to go back into the days of Abby Pulling racing in this championship for a field this size in a round to have been won by a female driver. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 is 15 seconds and 1 lap away from doing just that. 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, new fastest lap of the race, 42.686. Milo Manderson getting closer all the time to Aidan Hassan. He's holding station there in 2nd place through the Bruno chicane for the penultimate time. The race win that nearly came in a final at Wilton Mill earlier in the season is 1 lap away for 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀 out of the final corner on this penultimate lap. Last lap board is out. The lead is good, half a second over Hassan. Manderson, pace is still good, but whilst it's good, they're just not closing in. This is 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀's to lose now, down into the Stratford hairpin. Before today, hadn't had a heat win, hadn't had a final win, is mere corners away from a perfect day here at Shenington. Onto the hanger straight. Another check over the shoulder, won't need to defend. Into Wilkins here on lap 14. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀 out of the final corner is going to win at Shenington here in Junior Rotax. Takes the final victory. A brilliant final victory for 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀. A perfect day through the heats, through the final. A superb finish to her championship. A top 5 position will surely be guaranteed. Aidan Hassan finishes the year P2 and the champion once again. Milo Manderson is the last of the drivers on the podium. A great run there from Milo into 3rd. The number 82 JDR machine. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀 finishes the year 4th. A great year for 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, who will improve on his rank of 7th from a year ago. And wins, as I say, in finals at Clay Pigeon and other circuits across the year. 5th for Ethan Hay, 6th for Callum Ghosh, who's had a good year as well. Jake Fluitt, I can be very pleased with that top 10 to finish things off here at Shenington in 7th place. Albert Wilson 8th, Ben Horner 9th, and Jake Howarth, fighting from the lower parts of the grid, finishes in 10th. 11th for Daniel Whitfield. Jasmine Taylor has had a strong year as well, finishes 12th. Joseph Murphy and Jake Woods 13th and 14th. Jaden Hewitt, good drive there from Jaden, gaining a number of positions in that final, finishes 15th. Max Rowley, Harrison Morrow, Jack Briscoe, Toby Bedford and Harry Smith are all in the top 20. Kieran Denyer, Logan Cowling, were the last of those in the main group, 21st and 22nd. Problems down at the Wilkins corner for Joshua Withcombe in 23rd. Charlie Cox, Jensen Powers, Miles Roby and Harry Holland for retirements there in junior Rotax. Well, a pulsating year, all year for junior Rotax. Great stuff done by all of the drivers in that category. And wish them the best of luck for future seasons and races to come for the rest of this year. One more race to go here at Shenington after a couple of karts are recovered from out there on circuit. Rotax 177 and their round 12 final is next. Last race of the day, last race of the last round to bring us to a close for the 2023 Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships, the Rotax 177 final. And their grid looks a little bit like this. Chris Thomas, his last race with the number 1 plate, starts P1, looking to be the only driver to get a perfect weekend and win all 6 races that he's competed in. Starts in pole position. Andy Collinson alongside on the front row. Shane Collins, who had really bad luck in the first race of the day, starts 3rd. Jason Bear starts P4. Mark Patterson and Andy Ward complete row number 3. 6 karts in the field. So championship situation already sorted in this one. Andy Collinson, pending any strange goings on, is already your champion, or is your champion-elect, having secured a huge number of points across every single round this year. It's interesting to see how this start goes. Chris Thomas has led things out in a very classic, I keep using the word classic, the typical Chris Thomas way. Gets the start early on, really puts the hammer down in the mid-stage of the race, and we'll see how this one goes. We're going to surely go round again. We are indeed. Lights did not go out on that one. I think that's because the anti-pole side of the grid, the even-numbered side of the grid, weren't in the correct formation there. No, but for Andy Collinson starting from the front row of the grid, we've not seen that so far today. How does he challenge Chris Thomas going into the first couple of corners? That is the biggest question, I think, from the start of this race, the last one of the year. Quick thanks to our sponsors once again for 2023. Purgo, of course, your title sponsors of the Purgo SuperOne Karting Championships for 2023. ASD Signs, CWG Choices, Bell Helmets and JKH as well. All of what's been happening today and for the whole season could not happen without their support. One more race to go then for SuperOne 2023. One more race to see if Chris Thomas can close out a perfect weekend here in Rotax 177. Andy Collinson's going to try and give it everything, but in the end has to concede back into second place there as they go through the first couple of corners. First time around. Mark Patterson's had a bit of a problem there at the start of the race and has fallen adrift from the pack, but the other 5 all through the first couple of corners. Jason Bear has got ahead of Shane Collins. This is the main championship battle, you'd say, out there at the moment in their fight for second spot, and early stages advantage Collins. He's got the points advantage. Arguably just needs to go around and pick up some level of points in this race. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to get as good a result in this race as possible. Through past Jason Bear there into 3rd place. End of lap number 1 then. Chris Thomas leads by 0.65 of a second over Andy Collinson. Good gap for Collinson over his main rival in this year's championship, Shane Collins. The gap is similarly about 6 or 7 tenths between the 74 and the 52. Jason Bear in 4th place, Andy Ward 5th, and Mark Patterson bringing up the rear of the field in 6th. Conditions still good here. Track nicely rubbered in after a day's racing with no rain, dry conditions. A decent amount of dry conditions yesterday. I'd say those showers just kept bringing things back and forth. Rotax 177 drivers commenting that they were probably the lucky ones yesterday. Didn't have to deal with too much precipitation or difficult tyre choices. It's just how the weather gods shone down on them yesterday. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Collins closing in here on Collinson. We've seen these two go wheel to wheel many times so far this season. Both won out on their different occasions as well. One last scrap between Andy Collinson and Shane Collins. Very good to see before the end of the season. Chris Thomas now, as I say, this is what he does, and he does so well. A process, a strategy to these races is nigh on unbeatable. All built from the start of the races. It's this middle phase where it just turns the pace up a little bit. We saw it last year when he won the championship, of course, and the year before that. Master of his craft, particularly here in Rotax 177s, and I do hope in some capacity we do get to see Chris continuing racing. Yesterday it's only moved on from this particular set of kit. He's a great guy to talk to in the paddock. He's been putting a lot of work in with younger drivers as well. He's definitely doing the business at the moment. 2.1 seconds in the lead of this race. Collins and Collinson, I think, are going to have one more scrap to finish the season off here. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Collinson holding that second place right now. But here comes Shane Collins. Remember, he's had to change kart, of course. The eagle-eyed amongst you will say that the livery's completely changed since the start of the day. I had a quick look at the kart that he was running in heat number 1, and yes, indeed, complete tube failure on the bracket for the seat. So you can imagine that as a driver, if you lose your seat support, you start rocking around all over the place. It's quite uncomfortable indeed. It's also not good for the mechanics of the karts. So that's why he's changed over. And just showing his talents, that even though he's on a machine that may be a little bit unfamiliar or he's not fully happy with, he is performing and putting Andy Collinson under pressure. Also under pressure, Jason Bear. Andy Ward has closed in. Saw this in heat number 2 as well. Can Andy Ward this time find a way past Jason Bear, take another 4th place before the end of this season? 4.5 minutes to go then. Chris Thomas now leads by nearly 3 seconds. New fastest lap of the race from the outgoing Rotax 177 champion, 42.898. Collinson doing a good job though, as we'd come to expect from the new Rotax 177 champion. Hasn't offered Shane Collins a chance yet to get by. Good chance here potentially for Andy Ward. That's a good run through the Bruno chicane onto the hanger straight. It's a carry the speed through hanger though. Jason Bear's just able to hold that tighter line. I think that's quite key at the moment for Jason Bear. He's looking really good into and through Wilkins corner. Another new fastest lap of the race from Chris Thomas, this time a 42.873. And this is the thing, he just keeps chipping away at his own lap times. It's almost sometimes as if he's in a race against himself as to just how quickly he can get round and dominate. Still no change for second place. Collinson ahead of Collins, heading across the back and towards Wilkins once again. Bear holding Andy Ward at an arm's length as well for 4th place. End of lap 8. Another 42.8 for Chris Thomas. Metronomic in his approach to these races. Lead is now 3.7 seconds over Andy Collinson. Slightest check there from Chris Thomas just to see where his rivals are. Jason Bear through Bruno chicane as well, just holding on to 4th place. Mark Patterson circulating. He's just set his fastest lap of the race so far, 53.253. progress there for Patterson. He joined the championship midway through the season. Building experience all the time here in Rotax 177. I think Chris Thomas is just going to put a lap on Mark Patterson this time around. 2.25 minutes to go. Big thanks once again to all of you watching at home on the Alpha Live stream. And thank you for your support of all the Alpha Live streams. Oh, chance here! And Darl Collinson just caught up to the back of Patterson at the wrong spot for him, coming out of the Bruno chicane. Got over just in time to prevent Shane Collins getting down the inside on the hanger straight to get through and into second place. I don't think there was any contact between the two of them in all of that. But no, thank you once again to everyone who's been supporting these streams on the Sundays for SuperOne 2023. Hope you have enjoyed the coverage. And plenty more to come from Alpha Live across the course of the year. This weekend kind of marks the end of the summer. Go into the autumn from a commentary perspective as well at @MM. If you want to give us a follow and a like and all of that business, really does help us out. Just over a minute to go in this race then before the final lap board is prepared. Chris Thomas still in those 42.8s, 42.9s that he's been doing since probably the third or fourth lap of this race. I've got to say as well that Jason Bear and Andy Ward, their pace is really good. They're both down into the low 43s. Their pace is actually the same as Collinson and Collins up ahead. So if there was a little bit of a hold-up for Collinson and Collins, then Jason Bear and Andy Ward could be looking at some best results of the year so far. Strange things can happen in a last round meeting in one of these championships. Another 42.8 for Thomas. Another new fastest lap of the race for the race leader. 2 laps to go. Jason Bear looks to have won out in the battle for fourth. He's got a about 6th or 7th, 10th gap over Andy Ward right now. Comfortable enough just to relax. Not need to think too much about defending into the hard braking zones. Andy Collinson doing once again a superb job. Shane Collins closed in, but just apart from that half chance as they made their way past Mark Patterson, Collins simply hasn't had a chance. Well, if he went for a move, it would be a very high risk move. And Collinson, as we've seen in a number of races this year, just able to hold a gap. He's very good at this. Just 2 to 3 kart lengths. A distance that, if you're a wise driver, is just too far back to realistically have a go. Final lap board is out then. Chris Thomas, half a lap away from a perfect weekend. 3 wins yesterday in round number 11, and on for 3 wins for round number 12 as well. Through the final couple of corners, great having him back. Last race with the number 1 plate, and he cruises it down to come across the line. Chris Thomas wins in Rotax 177 in style. There's no other word for it. And on the line, Collinson just beats out Shane Collins for 2nd place. 4th place goes the way of Jason Bear. 5th for Andy Ward, and 6th for Mark Patterson. Well, a very entertaining finish there for our top 3. All of them will be on the podium. And that wraps us up. That's the last race of the day. That's the last race of the season. As it's season end, a couple of thanks from myself. First of all, to our squad here today, manning the cameras and bringing the stream to you. Darren Hassan, Luke Woodford from Alpha Life, Reese, Robin and Stu as well for their work out on the camera points. As I always say, literally could not do my job without them. Here in the comms box. Thank you to everyone here at Shenington as well. Always great to come up here to Shenington. Not just because it's 10-15 minutes up the road from the house and it's a short drive, but it's always a pleasure to call races round this circuit. And once again, we've been made to feel very welcome here, and look forward to the next time for the next event back here at Shenington. Thank you to all of you at home. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting and all of that jazz. Hope you enjoy the off season, and hope you join us for more racing. As I say, it's the end of SuperOne here today, but plenty more racing on Alpha Live between now and the end of the season, and commentaries as well from 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗀 Motorsport Media. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, Purgo for being title sponsors this year, AST Signs, CWD Choices, Bell Helmets and JKH. Of course, the whole Hoyle family for their work organising the championship fantastically once again. And with that, I think we'll probably wrap things up there. And as I say, it's been a fantastic championship. Well done to all of our champions once again, all of our drivers for their achievements in 2023. And fingers crossed we get to do it all over again in 2024. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for being with us today here at Shenington. Hope you've enjoyed the racing. Once again, do give it a like and a thumbs up and all that business, and share with your family and friends. You'll be able to watch all of the racing back today here on the Alpha Live channel in due course. Until next time, my name's been Andrew Mather from 𝗲𝗿𝗿𝗀 Motorsport Media. This has been SuperOne 2023. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and for now, bye-bye.
Well, hello everybody, good morning and welcome to live coverage of the SuperOne series. Three wide through Billy's blind. How on earth have they all got through there? Arthur Farrow to the outside. This is the moment, down the inside, takes the lead of the race. Through into Wilkins. Aiden Hassan's resistant though. Aiden Hassan is going to win round 12.